What a banger of a song, am I right? Voyager by Daft Punk. What a good one. Hold up, let me switch to there. Make sure y'all can see the right thing. That. Then let me make sure that you guys can see the. Why can I hear myself? Oh, wait, did my stream open in the one of the things? Why can I hear myself? What the fuck? Why can I hear myself? Hey, what's up, Cha Cha? What's up with the corpse husband voice tonight, bro? There's an echo? Yeah, why the fuck is there an echo? I'm losing it. There shouldn't be. Not complaining. I don't think I have a corpse husband voice. I don't think so. And for Radiant to do troubleshooting, fuck no. Do you have the kick thing open in the background? No, I have 3 tabs open, my kick stream, my Twitch stream, my YouTube stream. But they're all muted. I don't know where the sound is coming from. Fuck. Why the fuck would I have? I don't understand. Where's the echo? Am I getting trolled? The fucking monitor on my thing. There, I do have it, but how can I hear my own? Yeah, that's why I'm confused. What the fuck? Desktop audio streaming? What does that mean? One of your microphones is on? Well, yeah, it's on so I can hear myself, but there's only one mic. I don't know why. I'm so confused. How the fuck would I be able to hear myself? Hello? Wait, can I still hear myself? I still can't. Why the fuck is OBS talking back to me? Why is hello? So can I still hear myself? Computer mic? Yes. Like, yeah, feedback on left ear. I don't know what. Yeah, I know it's in my left ear. Okay, I can fucking hear it. I don't know why that's the case. Fuck.
It's your voice processing software, I swear.
Okay. What is my voice processing software?
Are you using a voice processor? It's something you have open that's letting you listen to yourself. What programs do you have open?
Yeah, no shit, retard. Something I have open on my computer is making it so I can hear myself. Dumb fuck.
I'm saying
No
you
fucking
don't know what I'm
shit.
saying. You don't understand what I'm saying. Like,
I do
check your
understand what you're
program.
saying. Yes, it's
What
something that
programs
I
do
have
you
open. I'm looking at all the shit I have open to see what it is, and it's nothing so
Okay,
far.
name,
Okay.
list them out, and I'll tell you which one it is.
List. What do you mean list them out?
Just name the programs. I can tell you which one, because there's like 5 different ones that I know of, because it always happens to people.
Start naming it.
No, you tell me. There's so many.
You
Like,
said
this
you
has to
know
be some kind of
5.
voice
Name the 5
processor.
that you know, and maybe it's one of those.
Sure. Okay. Voice meter banana. Let me think.
No.
Probably your Logitech. Let me think what else. Discord, if you're listening to yourself.
How would I be listening to myself? Can you
Like,
even do that on Discord?
yes. Like, just tell me, just name the programs you have open.
OBS?
Okay.
Chrome? Discord?
Okay, it's probably not either of
My
those.
capture card?
Continue. It might be your capture
Wait,
card then.
why the
Is
fuck
your
is
capture
my capture
card?
card getting? No, yeah, I just muted my capture card, and I think it's that. Yeah, it's
Okay.
my. Why the fuck is it?
Do you have it like capturing audio or something?
Why would it be? Why? How does it have my? I don't understand.
Easy. My work here is done.
The mic
Too
is
easy.
muted. I don't. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Wait, so now, okay, it's back now. Why is it back now?
Did you unmute the sound card
Yeah,
or the capture card? I mean.
I just unmuted it. and now I can hear it again. But I
Okay,
don't
well,
know
it's the
why
capture
it would
card.
be bringing
What
my
in
microphone.
your capture? Well, I'm assuming you need to unmute it so you can hear your Switch, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying.
Um,
I'm just testing shit. Okay, I was talking to
okay,
myself, not to you.
check your capture card settings because I'm sure there's something in there that lets you like stream your voice into it so that way you can record videos.
Yeah, I'm aware. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you got it all handled.
Yeah, I
So,
do. I don't know why you're still here.
too easy.
For sure, bro.
Easy. DGL.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Is this still? Why is it? Why? Why is it shooting my voice back at me? This makes no fucking sense. Zip Zip has God voice right now. Thanks to Cost. There. Why is it shooting my voice back at me? This makes no fucking sense. Why would it do this? Why? There's a monitor audio setting. Why is that on? Okay, how about now? Okay, now it's gone. Why the fuck would there be? Got any earphones with mic connected to Switch? No, no, there's nothing connected to my Switch. That's why. Check on. Yeah, the Switch has a mic, but it like the Switch doesn't have a setting to monitor your fucking audio to you. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Right? It's not like always on with the mic. It's whenever this game needs it. But okay, why the fuck is there a monitor audio setting on the fucking Switch, and why was it on? I'm just so curious about that. And why the fuck is it capturing in 4K now again? Oh no, that it because I. Oh, why? Why did it change? EAD internal. Okay, there. Apply that. Should be okay. No signal for a second. And then professional streamer, by the way. I'm not a professional streamer because I'm not making that much money off of this. This is not my job. You want me to be a professional streamer? Send me money, okay? But till then, okay. There we go. Now it should be good. Okay, let me turn down the audio for the game just a bit, and then let me clear a couple of my Discord notifications, and then let me go to the Tom Bilyeu video. And then, do you guys prefer if I play the video like this, or should I picture in picture it and then put that on the screen? Is that better? Like for you guys, would you guys prefer that or no? Top corner is better, IMO. I mean, like just like the whole Chrome tab versus having it like this, or what do you think? Too small to see the title anyways. Picture in picture better. Okay, do that. And then I'll have how I have things open. Let's do that, and then I can monitor my chats a little more. Okay, now let's get into the fucking reaction. Yeah, dancing anime girl in the bottom left corner now, please, thank you. Send me a GIF or something, but I probably will not be doing that, unfortunately. Sorry, get ghosted. Um, Something related to the SEC thing Tom wrote. Yeah, we can look into that because he talks about apparently being sued by. Oh, I found something related to. Okay, yeah, send it once it becomes relevant, and we want to look into it because he talks about it in the middle of the thing. I think. Also, let me 1.25 this because otherwise it's gonna be long as shit. Or 1.5. We'll see what we end up needing. Okay. Time to boot up my game, and then we'll
We
boot up the video.
just had a socialist elected to be mayor of the biggest financial city in the world. What do you take away from that? Do you think that that's going to make New York City better?
Ideally, your instincts are all looks dope. Thanks, Sanquest. That's very helpful.
Party or else?
I feel like everybody's over-indexing on this election a lot based on what they want to see. The far left people online are saying this is the proof of concept that the whole Democrat Party is going to go to the socialist direction. I think conservatives are saying this is evidence of Islamic jihadists winning elections, or see, that's the really ridiculous. Other people saying like, oh, the whole Democratic Party is becoming socialist. But I mean, it's New York City. It's a very blue place. He won his primary. When the primary was won, he was basically going to win.
Happy to help.
Cuomo probably not the best person to try to run against him for that. It's not his time anymore. I think Mulvaney ran a good campaign. His stuff is funny. If you watch the videos, I almost feel like I'm watching cutouts from like the Daily Show from like the 2000s. He's a funny dude. He's good on camera, which is one of the most important things, unfortunately, in today's media environment. So yeah, I think it'll probably more or less be business as usual in New York City, for better or for worse.
Do you think it'll be business as usual because he'll be stymied and he won't be able to get the policies through? Do you think it'll be business as usual because he calms down some of the more what I would call socialist, like just blatantly socialist rhetoric? What's going to make it be business as usual?
Generally, the left doesn't overstep their legal authority, like I would say MAGA, or the right does. So I think that for a lot of stuff, it's just not going to be possible. He's either not going to have the funding or the legal authority for it. And then for other stuff, I mean, I don't know. I welcome it. He's significantly to the left of me on a lot of economic policy. So if he tries stuff and it fails, then I can just point to that and go, look, like these are bad ideas. We shouldn't do them anymore. If he tries it and it works, then maybe I reconsider. I'm like, oh, maybe somehow there's some kind of external force that makes it so.
Fucking move whenever I mute and unmute my mic. Why does it do that?
The city backing grocery stores or the city, investing more in like rent control property is actually a good thing. And then I would change my views on it. So.
And how are you approaching the issue? So are you looking at this going, okay, well, the economy is obviously broken. We obviously need to do something different. I have a rough idea of what we should do, but hey, if he's got ideas, let him go at it. Or are you approaching this from a building the economy sort of brick by brick, these things adhere to a set of rules? And I think that the way he's positioning this, it's more in line with the way that economies work.
I don't know if we've talked about this personally or on camera before, but have we ever talked about the concept of like red teaming?
Yes. I don't know that we've talked about it. I'm intimately familiar.
Yeah. I don't know if like real stuff can happen without red teaming. And I kind of view politics very similarly. Like left to their own devices, I don't know if either political party could figure stuff out on their own. I feel like having another side there to kind of keep you honest and to kind of check you on a lot of things. Is where the best kinds of discussion happen. And similarly, like left to their own devices, I don't know if either happened without red teaming. And I kind of view politics very similarly, like left to their own devices, I don't know if either political party could figure stuff out on their own. I feel like having another side there to kind of keep you honest and to kind of check you on a lot of things is where the best kinds of discussion happen. And I would obviously say that the right has completely abandoned all forms of policy conversation for the past year. So I don't think we're even remotely able to approach solving any of the economic issues that we have right now in this country because there's no serious way to have a conversation about it. I don't consider like super big price control policy to be a serious way of dealing with stuff like housing or cost of living, but there's like no counterpart to that right now. So yeah.
What do you mean there's no counterpart to it?
As in, I don't know there's not a serious policy discussion about what do we do about housing in the United States. We're not capable of having that conversation right now because it's a very difficult conversation to have that's going to require some pain in different areas that people aren't willing to give on, I guess. Like for instance, like when it comes to housing, people, the thing that you keep hearing over and over again is that housing is unaffordable, rents are too high. You hear that. That's like the popular talking point. The reality point is that it's like 70% of Americans live in an owned home. So, and these are your strongest voters because people that have houses are probably older, they're more committed to an area, they're more likely to go out and vote. If you want to bring down rents or if you want to bring down the cost of housing, you are necessarily hurting the people that already have homes. And I've never heard a single politician confront that reality. People that already have homes. And I've never heard a single politician confront that reality. So, people that already have homes. And I've never heard a single politician. There's a delusional fantasy where people pretend that they can protect homeowners, which are some of the most like loyal, like voting based people, but you can also bring down rents and the price and cost of housing for everybody else, which is not possible. And also the people that get hurt the most by high cost of housing are people who aren't even capable of voting, because technically the
Ah, fuck off. I was muted because I was fucking with the. Because I was fucking with my pedal and my pedal mutes and pausing and pauses shit. So fuck you. Okay. Basically, I was just saying he's right. He's right. It's the same like NIMBYism, YIMBYism shit. It's hard to get stuff built because the people voting are the NIMBYs are already in the place where you want stuff to be built. So it's hard.
people that are hurt the most are people who aren't even able to move to an area because the cost of housing is prohibitively high. So it's a really weird, housing is a weird issue that's hard to solve in a democratic manner.
If I'm tracking what you're saying, the reason that it's hard to solve in a democratic manner is because the very people that want the policies to be strict, the NIMBYism, not in my backyard, those people are always going to try to vote it down. They have the most political power. They're older, they're more entrenched, more connected, all of that. They've got more money to back elections. So all of that momentum pushes them in the direction of not only voting against reform policies, but they have the power to like see it all the way through the system.
Yeah, and it's in their interest to do so. They should be voting that way, technically. They would be making a sacrifice to vote otherwise. Imagine you buy a home, and then the next week they talk about building.
Well, but also, voters should act not just in their own self-interest, but also in their self-interest in a way, because it benefits, like, even if it might lower the price of your house or whatever, right? Should still do it because of all the other benefits to the community and therefore you. But yeah,
massive high rises, in your area. Well, that's going to bring the cost of your house down, or it's not going to go up as quickly. You don't want that. Like, now that you have a home, like, you want to, how many people say the house is the most important investment or the largest investment of any American? Well, I don't want you to build a whole bunch of new properties that are going to drive down rents and ultimately the cost of real estate. So you become incentivized to vote against the greater interest of the economy of the city, whatever, in favor of protecting your own narrower interest of your particular housing price.
It's interesting. You're very right about that. And I think one of the reasons that the capitalist system works is because we're saying humans are selfish creatures. If you create a structure in which they can just go be selfish and we get to take advantage of the outcomes of all that selfish behavior, look at Elon Musk, right? Doing all this incredible stuff that's moving us forward from a technological standpoint, also making him fantastically wealthy, putting him in a position where he can control like just these armies of people building all this incredible stuff. He can get his agenda done. He can influence politics, all of it. Okay, so cool. There's obviously many people that are going to argue about his level of influence and all that, but the system allowed for somebody like that to pursue their selfish interests, and it kicks off all this technology along the way. The catch becomes, from where I'm sitting, is that when I look at the NIMBYism, there is a point at which so many things have come together where everybody is pushing for only their sole interest that we begin to bake into the structure of the economic system itself all these deranging elements. And then it's like, yeah, you can point at housing and you can say, hey, well, it's really in your best interest to do this. But once everybody is acting like that at every level and everybody is solidifying power and voting for things that are good for only them, and then they don't realize they're disenfranchising the young, and that there's a historical pattern that says you do not want to disenfranchise the young, as they will completely flip the tables over and they will come for your head. That's where this starts to get...
Yeah, but then you're the one, you're the elite telling people what's good for them, which in theory he should hate, but...
problematic. And so getting people to understand that the economy is broken in exactly the way that someone like Mamdani is pointing out. He's right. Like, he's got his finger on the right problem, but his solutions are disastrous. And this is one where we'll differ in that you're very sanguine. You see maybe a positive thing coming out of this. And I just look at history and I'm like, this loop has played out so many times, and it becomes way dangerous long before anybody learns their lesson, because they're not looking, they don't have a metric that they could say, oh, I'm just going to watch this metric. I'm going to try the policy. I'm going to watch this metric, and we can all agree that's a great metric, right? Yay. And then when that metric doesn't go up, they just end up blaming something else. They don't go, yeah, okay, this policy really just doesn't work, which is a fascinating part of, I've heard you lament recently about some of the, you didn't say emotional difficulties, I'm putting that phrase in your mouth, but the emotional difficulties of being a political streamer, I'm running into those same things. So for me, I'm butting up against something there where I look at this, it feels very dark, it feels very dangerous. It feels like there's this thing happening, a slide to the far left that sets off all these alarm bells in my head. And I cannot figure out.
Well, like, what alarm bells? Like, what is like the worst thing that he's proposing?
how to get people to build a vision of the economy from the standpoint of cause and effect. So it's interesting to map out the way that you're looking at it. This is a red team moment. We need somebody to run the experiment. Nobody's having serious policy conversations. We're in gridlock. People are
Nobody, including you, but
sort of doing what they're supposed to be doing, voting for their own interests. And so now this is sort of a natural beat in all of this, where somebody comes in to try a new policy that hopefully will break up the distortions that have worked their way into the system.
Sure. To be clear, I don't think this is a red team moment. The red team I was hoping for was supposed to be the Conservative Party, or at least more conservative people. And I feel like they've completely abandoned the policy discussions.
Yeah, the red team isn't within your own coalition. It's supposed to be people outside of your coalition. Like, in theory, you can kind of call like a splinter faction within your own movement a kind of red team sort of thing, but the red team is the opposition, which is dog shit right now because they don't want to govern. It's like one of the biggest issues in our fucking shit right now, you know?
So,
and they would red team socialism? What would they red team?
Or I wouldn't say socialism, but
they would red team the Democratic Party, the other team. They would red team the blue team. That's why it's called. I mean, if you aren't aware of the concept of red team, the idea is there's two teams, red team, blue team. I know it in the context of like cybersecurity, where blue team is like you're doing exercises to increase how secure something is, and then red team is trying to hack into it. But it applies in everything, right? There's two teams, red team, blue team, and you're working against each other.
But just more, I guess, like further left economic idea stuff.
You want them to, because
like on a very basic broad sense, the further left you go, the more price control-y people get, meaning setting artificial caps on things, like saying insulin shouldn't cost this much, it should be set at this price, or they'll set price, they'll bring up a price floor, like the minimum wage should be this high. And the further away your price controls get from market equilibrium, the further your market is distorted, and then other things start to happen to compensate. So, for instance, if you bring down the price of insulin too much, maybe companies don't produce it anymore because it's no longer financially worthwhile. Or if you bring up the cost of minimum wage too much, maybe companies start paying more and more employees under the table because it's no longer worth it to employ them, or they just shut down. And then on the flip side, you have generally, this was the general case, but again, this has not really been the Conservative Party for the past 5 or 10 years, is usually they fight for more like free market stuff. So they'll say things like, well, the minimum wage should be lower, or, you know, the company should be able to act in whatever way they want. And obviously in some ways that's not good. We have rare diseases in the United States, so there's not very much money that you are incentivized to cure, because why would you? But when the government offers incentives with there's a name for like this rare drug disease program, but that the government kind of offers bounties for curing certain diseases, even though the financial incentive wouldn't be there otherwise. Like, well, that's a good thing, and conservatives would never push for stuff like that. So yeah, you have to have, like, I think these two forces pushing and pulling on each other, and then it just forces you to be a little bit more honest about what your particular policies can do, and then you settle somewhere, not necessarily in the middle, but even if you settle more to one side, at least it's kept more honest by your opposition.
you had to
Yeah, that makes sense.
distill down, what are the two opposing forces? Are they politically opposing forces or something else?
Between like the right and the left today?
Yeah, I can't tell if in that example you're saying you need the right and the left to be pushing on different parts of how we, you know, move the levers of the economy, and they disagree, and so they're each pulling on different levers, and that just sort of on balance creates something good. If that's what you're saying, or if
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay. So the way that I approach this, I think the fundamental way that people are looking at this stuff is so broken, and nobody in politics understands the economy. Scott Besson does, for sure. That guy really understands.
Are you fucking shit? Are you serious? Scott Bassett really understands the economy, yes.
But the
He's
vast
so
majority
smart.
of people, the people he needs to convince to be appointed, they don't understand the economy. So you run into a position where if a politician's job is to get elected and get re-elected, then they have no incentive to actually learn how the economy works. They have an incentive to learn how to make the populace feel about something that they're saying. This is why Mamdani is so impressive, in that he really understands the pain that people are going through. He can put his finger right on it, and he can say a solution that sounds awesome. But when it sounds awesome from an emotional standpoint, it will make people feel what they want to feel. Hope, things are going to get better, change, all that, even though it is literally he's approaching people that are dying of thirst and offering them salt water. And so it's just going to kill them faster.
That bad.
It's probably worse than that. It's somebody lost in a desert, and he's offering them a chance to lick the sun.
What are like the worst?
It is so bad.
What are the huge, like, horrible worries, I guess, you have economically for things?
Why is my kick stream tab open? Keep unmuting. So do I just need to? Oh, I'm gonna manually mute these tabs. Fuck it. Mute site. There we go. Now I can't unmute this off. Low IQ people fawning over populism once again. Yeah, that's just how it goes. What he's doing is describing Trump. Of course he is. Of course. But he obviously won't realize that ever. But, you know. It's dumb.
That he would present.
It depends on if you're talking about, is he going to get checked? Like when he tries to do these, probably a lot of these things won't go into fruition. And so it'll be sort of this long, slow thing. But let's just take the housing, putting rent freezes. The reason that I'm so worried and find myself wanting to push this into like absolute hyperbole is because when you play those out down the road, what ends up happening goes like this. The first person gets in office and they promise things that make people feel emotionally good. And you go in, you do those things, you freeze rents, whatever. And then because we've already run this experiment in New York, we know what's going to happen. And that's going to be if you tell somebody who makes a product, which is a product or service, which is running that building, you can only charge this amount of rent. The problem is they have taxes, they have upkeep, they have employees, they have to pay all of that. And it can and will get to the point where for the amount that you tell them they can charge, they're not able to pay for the building.
Yeah, so just as a quick thing, like I don't disagree with any of this. I think rent control is a bad policy.
Yeah.
Forget New York. It's been analyzed basically all over the world and it doesn't really work.
Yep.
But we also do it everywhere. So I don't consider that like a massive departure from what's going on. Like California, San Francisco, I think parts of LA have like a lot of rent control.
Yeah, rent control
Canada
policy.
has it, like the whole world, everybody does rent control. So if he does more, I don't think it's good, but I don't see that as being like a catastrophic, like a step in the darkest direction in the same way that all of Trump's
Let me make my best case. There are 3 books that I
Your best case. Wait, he's trying to make his best case. Like you can argue why it's bad, but then he's like best case why it's worse than Trump. Good one, dude.
I highly encourage people
Good
to read
luck.
to understand just how bad that can go. I would give different books if I were trying to get people to be afraid of Trump and authoritarianism, because that also goes completely pathological. It's pathology on both sides. But here's what I see with this and how wrong it can go. Read Gulag Archipelago, Mao the Unknown Story, and Red Famine. And you very quickly realize that there is a thing, a property of the human experience that will trigger every time you try to do this, which is you're going to put these policies in place. They are not going to work. And because they don't work, people will resist. And when people start resisting, you have to say, what am I going to do when that person resists? In a democratic situation, you go and you have to convince those people, whether you agree with them or not, they can vote you out of office and everything is fine. But
Well, like he's kind of right, because like yeah, these policies are bad. Like then that's in theory what happens. But if it's then you just convince them like that, or if people realize that it's bad, right? Then you're in a democratic system, then you just you vote those people out, right? And Democrats are not authoritarians, so that is what will happen. Tom Bilyeu, however, is a Trump supporter, so I don't know how he's fucking talking about, oh, you know, you'll have to do a resistance or whatever. Like, dog. Okay, good one.
But if enough people vote for socialism and they want socialism, then you start marching down the path, certainly of where Europe is going, which we can talk about some of the problems that are being born of that. But right now, you will end up in a situation where you either abandon these, as we did in New York, and then, because in New York in the 70s and 80s, in the Bronx, I think it was 20% of all buildings that burned were arson, so people could collect the insurance payment because it was cheaper to just burn the building and collect the insurance than to try to get around all the regulations. Okay, so we end up backing out of that by reinstituting capitalism, by reducing the regulatory burden, letting the free market go back and do its thing. But now here we are looping around again. Now maybe America has protections and we'll just always loop. We're always going to be banded. But the thing that worries me is that we really will swing to the socialist side, and we will come to the point where we realize people are going to disagree, and the only way to get them to stop disagreeing is to silence them through jail or violence, which obviously is played out over and over and over around the world, even the UK.
Yeah, in authoritarian systems, which you have no reason to think that Mamdani would be authoritarian.
Right now is,
or that it would matter, because it's literally one city in New York, and there's still like, it's a city, therefore there are state laws that prevent authoritarianism, there are federal that prevent authoritarianism, and like, well, you can say, oh, well, yeah, all authoritarians have had roadblocks. Like, it's such a small level of power that you have as a mayor. Like, I
just become completely unhinged with locking people up politically. So
how do you rate this as an...
So he, like, locking people up, he thinks in New York City, people are going to start getting locked up for their politics. Like, he thinks that's what's going to happen.
Issue. So, like, there's a world where I can hear what you're saying, but I feel like we've already swung so far on the right side with Trump, who controls a much
what
more
the fuck are you talking about? Trump is, like, prosecuting people for their politics, specifically when those politics are against him. Like that's literally happening. So I don't know what you're
And it is ubiquitously echoed and resonant throughout the entire right-wing
trying
federal
to even
party,
talk about.
like through the House,
It's
trying something
retarded.
else, and then our whole executive branch. That when I look at like a mayor in New York City, I'm like, this doesn't even register, basically.
So you and I have a very different frame of reference. So
Okay.
my frame of reference goes like this. The Republicans are unhinged lunatics when it comes to spending. The second they pass the big, beautiful bill, I knew I cannot trust them. They are not going to do the right thing.
The second they passed the big beautiful bill, that's when you realized. That's when you realize you can't trust Republicans on being fiscally responsible. Yeah, good one, dude.
To overcome
I replace all references to Mamdani and NYC with Trump and USA. Yeah, exactly. It's like but he'll never think about it that way.
the wealth inequality that will lead this country into open revolution where people are getting killed. So, okay, well, they're not my ally. So then I say, well, is there anybody better? And the only people worse than the Republicans are the Democrats. So that's
Oh my god, dude.
terrifying. So I have these people who are
The
bad. and then
Democrats
these
are
people
worse
who are
than
worse.
Republicans.
And
definitely.
I mean, we can go through the mechanisms.
Like, does he like you can just look at historical fiscal like statistics. Like you can just see how the economy does under Republicans and Democrats. It's the Democrats do better every single time. Like in the last like 80, 50 years or something. I don't know, dude. Like when was the last time there was a budget surplus under Clinton, right? Come the fuck on. Trump increased the deficit more than any other president did in just 4 years. He almost did as much as Obama in 8. Like, and Obama had to deal with the fucking like 2008 housing crisis. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
For if we need to, but if
Sure.
we do, I certainly
I guess
can,
like the
but-
confusing is I hear this a lot, but then I look at like, so I was promised communism or socialism after 8 years of Obama, and I never got it. And then
Yeah.
I was promised communism or
There you go.
socialism after 4 years of Biden, and then I never got it. And then on the other side,
So if you weren't thinking all that stuff could be better, but these guys are terrified of girl cock. Exactly true. Alright, sorry.
people warned of a whole bunch of horrible stuff that Trump would do, and a lot of it or more happened in the first term, and then come to the second term, it is continuing to happen. So I just don't understand the fear of like rolling. So I think we talked about this on maybe the first episode we did. Like everything that Trump has done is like very predictable. Like I think that from the first term, it was obvious that he's a crazy spender. He spent a ton when he came into office
Yeah,
after
and he
Obama.
did
He,
it.
doesn't care about balancing the budget. He did his huge tax cuts in his first term. He made them permanent in the second term. He's not capable of leading the country. There's a whole bunch of reasons to expect what's happening now because of what happened in the first term. And then meanwhile, on the other side, again, I keep hearing like socialism and communism are going to happen under the Democrats. It's like 98% of all jobs made.
Any minute now, the Democrats are going to start jailing their political opposition for no reason besides just that they're the opposition, to be clear. And then, yeah, and whereas when the Republicans do it, they're not as bad as Democrats, though. Think about it, though. Like, come on.
In the past like 50 years have come under Democrats. The last balanced budget we had was under a Democrat. Every
There you
time a
go.
Democrat comes in office, it's on the
That's what I
back of
said.
like a Republican-led disaster. And it's like, I don't understand how we're voting in Republicans to give them another chance and then they destroy everything again, like they've already done, because we're too afraid of electing Democrats because we're worried about them doing a thing that they haven't done and don't really show any inclination of doing. It's really hard for me to understand.
We might have different things that we worry about, so I don't need them to usher in socialism in name.
Oh, they're not gonna. This is a name. They're just gonna do socialism. Oh, so name the socialism then.
What I need them to do for them to be a not only moral hazard but a literal physical hazard for the United States is to deficit spend. So I just
Dog, if you like, he keeps harping on the deficit thing. Dog, if the deficit is what you care about, why the fuck would you ever vote for a Republican?
rank order parties by how much they're going to deficit spend.
In that case, the Democrats still easily win. The
Yeah.
Republicans
Yes, that they're
deficit
gonna
spend like
spend
crazy.
more?
No. The
Well, they want
Republicans
to add
spend
more to the big beautiful bill. If they were saying government is shut down until
Not like, why is he just looking at the big beautiful bill? This is what made you realize? This is what made you realize it? Are you kidding me?
we balance the budget, I'd be on team Democrat. But they're not. They're saying just add these things back into the bill. That is, again, this is not a I'm
The Democrats are saying add that back and also stop fucking like stop the fucking Trump tax cuts, which would decrease the deficit spending. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he doesn't care about deficit spending. He cares about government spending. That's what he cares about, obviously. Because I'm sure if you tell him, oh, let's just increase everybody's taxes then, so we're deficit spending less, he's gonna say no. So there you go. Let's see.
I'm going to bat for Republicans. This is like what the Republicans are doing is completely unacceptable and will drive us off a cliff. And then the Democrats are like, but wait, let's go faster. That's the part where I'm like,
no,
okay,
it was because the Republicans did a whole bunch of like tax cuts, increase for funding for ICE, and a whole bunch of other stuff like this. And they cut the way they balanced it was by cutting.
They haven't balanced it.
Foods. Well, the way that they make this kind of work and the way that they didn't, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we see this very different.
But the way that they've balanced anything, when I say balanced, the way that they brought back a little bit of the budget is by cutting things like SNAP and Medicaid.
Yeah, but I couldn't fucking care about bringing it back a little. Like it's deeply problematic. What the Republicans.
Ooh, Destiny isn't defending the Republicans, you dumb fuck. He's not saying, oh, the Republicans are trying to balance the budget by decreasing. No, he's saying their way of decreasing the amount of deficit spending is by cutting taxes a fuck ton and then cutting people's benefits.
Are putting forward is within 10 years you go off a cliff.
Sure.
So now I'm just saying you've got the Democrats going, no, we can do it in 8. And so
but
now
all the big beautiful bills are Republican bills.
The Biden was president for 4 years. Did he fucking destroy the fucking country by deficit spending? Obama was president for a year. Did he do that? Like, what is wrong with you? What are you talking
yeah, what the
about?
fuck? So I think you think I am either identifying as a Republican or I'm going to bat.
No, I'm not thinking that. You're saying that the Democrats are worse because they want to reinstate SNAP and Medicaid to bring back the old requirements.
Yes.
But it's like those were things that Americans already had expected. And then the Republicans are cutting them to give dumb tax cuts and other like bad spending measures. But you're saying since the Democrats want to add these things back, they're worse. But the Democrats would have never passed a thing that looked like the Big Beautiful Bill.
So
the bill that the Democrats would have passed would have been fiscally better than the Big Beautiful Bill.
Okay,
Yes.
if I'm hearing
Obviously.
what you're saying,
Oh shit! Thanks for the follow, Rogeezy. Appreciate it.
which is, I think, if we had just elected the Democrats and not the Republicans, then we would be in a better fiscal place.
100%.
They would be closer to a balanced budget.
Easier,
okay.
yeah.
Given their movements now, I have no reason to believe that that's true.
The easiest reason
Why? Why?
why I'm 100% correct is because they wouldn't have solidified the Trump tax cuts, which have been one of the biggest things that have pushed us more into debt, is having these huge tax cuts, reducing your income without decreasing your spending.
Okay. My takeaway on that is when I look at Mamdani, that feels to me like that's
Why? My takeaway for what the Democrats would do if they were in power in the federal Congress is I look at the mayor of New York City, the person that was just elected as mayor of New York City with, what is it, like 3% of the vote? That person, I think that's what I look for what Democrats are going to do in the Congress. But yeah, good one, dude.
That's where the energy is in the party, which is way farther left. It's
That's
way
where
more
the
difference free.
energy
It's way
is?
more tax.
Fuck.
Wait, but why? He's just one mayor.
Fucked up.
Yeah. But if you think about, so my basis on
He's just one mayor. But if you think about it, though, no. There's no but if you think about it, you fucking dumbass.
assumption is that he's representative of where the party is going to go. If
Why?
you believe he's just a random guy,
But he's literally just the mayor of New York City.
But look at how much energy he gets, how many people in the party.
In New York City. In the party, he's not very popular nationally. And even if he is, that doesn't make him like fucking national factor and like where the party is going and fucking national shit.
Are talking about him. Look at the
There's
coverage.
not. The
that he
coverage is
gets.
big, and there's people online talking about it. But he's not that. The reason why, so people are really critical of Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer for not endorsing him. The reason why is because he's not actually that popular writ large with the Democratic Party. So
Yes.
Listen, it's entirely
Schumer didn't even endorse him, did he? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
possible that the rumors aren't true, and that part of why Chuck Schumer is holding this up is he's worried about getting primaried by AOC. Maybe.
We're
Or
probably holding it up because he wants SNAP and Medicaid back for Americans and not just more deficit spending and Republicans that refuse to do anything.
well, the
beyond
deficit
it.
spending, that's where your argument weakens, because they're willing to increase the deficit. They are saying
They don't want to. Democrats, like, sure, they'll increase the deficit, but they, like, under Biden, the reason was because the fucking Trump task force was still in place. If that had not been the case, it would have been better. Like, what the fuck? Also, deficit spending isn't the worst thing in the world. They had this, I'm pretty sure last time Destiny was on Bilyeu, they talked about the same thing. Like, you go into debt. Like, that's one of the things that, like, you would never tell somebody, oh, just don't go into debt, bro. Like, no.
saying I care more that people get these things than I care about the deficit. That one thing is where my brain switches on either party. The second a party says, I'm willing to deficit spend, what they're actually saying is, I'm willing to increase the wealth inequality.
Okay, so why would you ever vote for a Republican then? They will always deficit spend, and that's all they like doing, and they've always done that, and their history is way worse on that than Democrats.
willing to make the rich richer and the poor poor. Deficit spending is that is it mechanistically.
Okay, let me try this. I'm curious how you feel about this,
Yep.
okay? You and I are in LA.
Yep.
Okay. And we have $1,000 and we want to take a road trip to Vegas. Okay. And on the road trip to Vegas, I want to be able to buy my 12-pack of Red Bull. Okay. This is my
Great
Red Bull.
hypothetical.
Guaranteed this.
Let's see.
Let's say that at some point you bring 2 more friends. Okay. So we have a
Such a good
$1,000 budget.
hypothetical, bro.
We want to Vegas. I want my Red Bull.
Yep.
And let's say that you're like, actually, I want to take a road trip to Portland. I'm like, Portland? That's going to cost like $3,000. And you're like, yeah, we're going to do the Portland thing. And also, you don't get any Red Bull. And eventually, I'm like, okay, hold on. You got all your friends voting against me. All right. We can go to Portland if you want, but I'm keeping my Red Bull.
Yep.
In that situation where you've increased the cost of our trip from $1,000 to $3,000, and then you've cut my $20 Red Bull, for me to say, well, I at least want my Red Bull, for you to go, oh, so you want to spend $3,020. You're even worse? Well, that's not true because I wanted to go to Vegas the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the Democrats would have never solidified those tax
Like even if you're fucking lesser of two evils would be Democrats on the deficit because Republicans are just worse in every way. Like this is retarded.
cuts. Which is which even under Biden, it was the interest and the additional, the lack of revenue collected that was even pushing a lot of deficit spending under Biden. And now to have those solidified, they would have never been solidified under the Democrats. The budget would have been closer to balanced. It was coming closer to being balanced under Obama and Biden than it was under Trump, who was massively deficit spending more than more than Obama at the end of his term, even though Trump came in under a good economy. I just don't understand how we ever look at Democrats and go, they're worse because they want to fight for SNAP and Medicaid, when it's the Republican budget that was so much more dumbly done. That's just crazy to me.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
But I will fair in that you're a smart person. You're looking at it, you have a frame of reference. You sound like you're missing a key point from where I'm sitting.
Okay.
And that key point is I don't have to look at hypotheticals. I just need to ask, we're in the situation that we're in and how are they behaving? So your example is great. In terms of, I totally get the emotion of like, hold on a second. Now, the one thing I said I wanted, I'm not even going to get, and we're driving somewhere else. What is happening? And so I am still going to get my thing, and I don't care if it costs more money. And so what I'm saying is, even if I can't get you to agree that I think that that analogy is kind to the point of being nonsensical, but even if I can't get you to agree to that, that's the surface. What I am literally kept awake by is the fact that the entire nation is arguing up here what my wife and I call never talk about the tea. So the biggest argument I've ever been in with my wife was over a cup of tea. And after 2 hours of screaming at each other, almost ruining an entire vacation, I was like, there's no way I'm this mad about a cup of tea. So what am I actually mad about? Then I got into the building blocks of what was actually going on. We started talking about that, which had everything to do with insecurities. And all of a sudden we were able to resolve the issue. What I'm saying is all the stuff that manifests up here at we've got to give this to that person and I want my Red Bull is everybody needs to get on board with. It is the government has a moral obligation to balance the budget. So I have all of these base assumptions in my brain.
Okay, so if you think that, why would you ever vote for a Republican who is worse on the budget and balancing the budget than a Democrat is? Why would you do that? Are you retarded? The answer is yes.
That paint my worldview. One of them is when you look back in history, every time, minus Japan, every time a country has spent more than 18 months at over 130% debt to GDP, they've gone into open violence. So revolution.
Minus Japan when? Okay, so he's got first of all, how many is that? Is that 1 out of 300? Japan is the one time out of 300 times that hasn't happened, or is this 1 out of 4? Or is this and why was Japan different? What happened that Japan did differently that was gonna and also, so it hasn't went into open violence when after 100 years, after 2 years it did it? What is your what the fuck?
In civil war or just default, which leaves people starving in the streets. So it's happened every time except once, again, Japan being the only exception. And we're at 122% and growing rapidly. We add $1 trillion to the budget. So you can look at a spreadsheet and it really is, it's somewhere between 7 and 10 years from now, barring some miracle, we cross that 130% mark. And given that we are already at each other's throats, this all breaks. So I'm just any step in that direction, and I'm just this is crazy.
Sure, I can kind of understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I can get it. So why would you vote for?
So in my analogy, right? Well, it's $3,000. It's a lot for that trip, but $20, that's even more money.
And by the way, I'm screaming at why the fuck? What are we? How are we already doing a $3,000 trip?
Sure, I understand. I guess my question then is: do you acknowledge, or would you say then that had Kamala been elected, if there was a Democrat Congress, we would have been closer to a balanced budget than we got under the one big beautiful bill?
It is a hypothetical rerun that I have a natural inclination to say no.
Even though all.
Because why? We had a Biden presidency, and your deficit got worse under Trump. Why would you? This is just retardation. He has this fantasy in his head of the fiscally responsible Republicans. It's just not the case.
History disagrees. All the history points to
I'll
Democrats.
walk you through the beats because, dude, honestly, I'll give a 30-second pitch about why I don't care Republican or Democrat.
Okay.
Wow, both sides are the same. Oh.
I really believe this country is going to default on its debt, and that will end America for 100 years. In terms of anything that people think of as America being important on the world stage, having a stable economy, being a place where people are safe, that goes away for 100 years. It's just the normal cycle of this stuff. Even China had their 100 years of humiliation. Look at what happened to Argentina, same thing. It took 100 years. They're still not back yet. Maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't. But it's like, when a country defaults,
Zip looks like we won a House seat in Utah. Judge has redistricting map that would result in one of the 4 seats. Yeah, I saw that. I heard about it. Very, very good. Absolutely poggers. Got fucking retards in Utah trying to fuck their shit up, and they got a dem win. Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure from what I read, I didn't read much into this. Maybe we can look at it later after this, but there's really nothing that they could do. Like, it's done. Like, that's it. So, like, Salt Lake City is its own district, which gets you a dem seat or whatever.
It is so catastrophic. It doesn't sound scary, but it's like terrifying because you become uninvestable. And so now the part of debt that's useful goes away and you can't raise it. And so your country just gets stuck. And that is a nightmare scenario, the likes of which I really don't want to live through.
Versus a Trump presidency, which is like a totally nice dream. Like, what do you...
And then if it's some lesser version of that, there's still going to be some untold number of people that get murdered in the streets. It just plays out over and over and over.
I don't disagree with a single thing you've said so far.
Perfect. So now it's like, okay, when I look at, if everything driving my thinking is economic, I'm going to look at the candidate that seems to have a better grasp of economics.
Okay. And Trump has a good grasp of economics versus Kamala Harris. Are you fucking shitting me right now?
I don't expect you and I to agree on this, but Kamala Harris completely ruled herself out when she started saying words like what Mamdani is saying. He's more crystallized. He's farther down the road.
What did Kamala say that was anything close to what Mamdani is saying? Are you, like, hello?
But she was talking about the same thing, price controls and things like that. And for me, when somebody says that, it's just a...
Versus Trump, who talked about tariffs?
Disqualifying statement.
Like, a tariff is... Like, that's as anti-free trade as a fucking price control would be. Like, you guys understand that, right? Like, if you're talking about, like, oh, free trade, like, tariffs are, like, on the same shit, kind of. Like, what the fuck? What is this guy care? What? He's just retarded. He's just a retard.
Now, what do you think? Because Trump has said so many more things and more.
We're never going to agree on that.
Well, no, but there are some things that you would just be objectively, factually incorrect on. So, for instance, if you're worried about socialism, how do you feel about the fact that Trump now, the United States is getting shares, the United States government is getting shares in like Intel or U.S. Steel, Nippon Steel? Like, that's like that's like an AOC Bernie Sanders wet dream. Oh, the government has like shares, voting shares or whatever.
Literally, letters moronic.
Yeah, but a Democrat would have never done that. So this came from Trump, right? And then when we look at things in terms of like catastrophic impact on the economy, nothing that Kamala said, and Democrats say a lot of dumb things, is the equivalent to the tariff regime that we have right now that is continuing.
Oh, hey, he said what I said. No way.
To our currency devalued 10% over the past year. Our trade relations.
The tariff thing is very complicated.
It's not.
It's complicated.
You have to devalue the dollar. There is no way out of this without devaluing the dollar. You have to generate more tax revenue. Tariffs are a tax.
Or you could just do an income tax.
Look, Trump is bordering on indefensible.
Instead, so you have to get more tax revenue. So do a tariff which is anti-free trade instead of like while also doing like fucking the Trump tax cuts.
So
no, it's not. Even what you just said doesn't make sense because if you're trying to generate more tax with a tariff, why can't you just raise income taxes?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so much easier and wouldn't hurt our trade relations with the rest of the world? Or because bumping up your income tax by a few points in every bracket is going to raise you hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. It's the easiest way to raise a ton of money. But the import tax is damaging. It's destroying our relationship with so many other countries around the world, and it's hurting our domestic economy, and it's having disproportionate impacts on the people that probably need the money the most.
I think this is going to have to play out before we know if it's...
It has to play out? Dude, are you... Like, he's retarded. He's just retarded.
Helping us on an international stage or hurting us, I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Why? How would it help you? How would it help you? How would it help you?
We've got 0 deals in however many days. We said we would have 90 deals in 90 days. We have none so far.
Well, that's not true. We do have deals.
We don't.
There's not one deal. The UK deal is like the only one they can point to, and that's not a deal. It's not a deal. It's concepts of a deal. Literally concepts of a deal. That's all we have right now.
Trade deals, real trade deals? No. We got some truths.
Define real.
A trade deal would be like a market-wide deal that dictates different terms across the different sectors of your economy. Like these are usually hundreds of pages long. That it's not like we'll tariff you 10% and you tariff us 10%. Because there's like markets are sophisticated things depending on how you run it. Like let's say that I buy milk from you and I also sell milk to you, and you're like, okay, cool. And in our economy, we also have a thing where if you produce milk, you pay 0% taxes. Well, that's not like a tariff. But that's a pretty bullshit advantage that you guys have. That's not really fair. These are the types of minutia that you get into when it comes to actually writing a real trade deal. It's not just saying like, oh, blanket tariffs.
We'll get back to the show in a moment. But first, let's talk about getting the most out of your
Oh my god,
healthcare.
ads. Yes, I love ads.
Incredible amount of
Give me
useful data.
more. Give me
Then
more
does
ads.
absolutely nothing with it. Bevel turns that
What
data
the
into
heck?
intelligence. This is what your Apple Watch
Wait,
should
what?
have been doing from day one. Bevel consolidates everything into one platform.
Fucking
Sleep tracking,
Apple Watch
nutrition
add-on?
logging,
The
fitness
fuck is
monitoring,
this?
recovery scores, habit tracking, stress levels, all in one place instead of
Sounds
scattered across 5 different
Dumb as
apps.
fuck. I don't respect
Bevel's
this guy
AI
enough to
is
watch
pro-
it. Yeah, I'm like kind of there. It's like, I watch ads when I'm stealing content because I feel it, but it's also this guy, so I don't know. Oh, you know what? This time, I'll do it. I'll have to think about my own personal policy on stealing people's content and skipping their ads. I don't know.
Proactive. It doesn't wait for you to ask it questions. It analyzes your metrics in real time and tells you what you need to know. It holds you accountable to your goals, it remembers your lifestyle, and tailors every suggestion specifically to you.
Oh my god, I have to
Your
fight a
data stays
guardian
private.
and the
Stored in your
fucking...
device, not on servers. Over 1 million people have
Shit,
downloaded
yeah.
Bevel, and it has a 4.8 star rating. Head to bevel.health/impact and use code IMPACT to get your
Apparently he gets worse and more bad faith by the end, really? Is that possible?
first month free.
Jesus.
And now, let's get back to the show. But are you saying that leading into this, that things were going well?
Yes,
and
phenomenally.
Donald Trump is fucking that up.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we've at least now identified the base assumption that we do not share.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the international trade deals that we have, and I'm like, I cannot believe we have allowed this to happen. We are now in Thucydides' trap. We let China grow powerful because we were idiots. And
We let them grow powerful, or they just grew powerful? I don't know. Like, what did you want to happen? What was the alternative here?
this is a tale as old as time. We could have, and I'm sure there was somebody that's been screaming about it from day one, predicted that this is exactly what was going to happen, which we let happen.
Wait, what was the bad thing that was going to happen?
That we have now completely gutted manufacturing out of America.
But the manufacturing is at the highest point it's
So?
ever been. It was at Biden. It was the highest point it's ever been. We've exported a lot of low-level manufacturing, but we don't have people to manufacture everything. Like China's not trying to expand their low-level manufacturing. China's trying to grow into the manufacturing that we do.
Yeah, let me give you an alternate version of this is what I think actually happened. China admits this is what happened.
Fucking
The VCs are finally talking about this is what happened. It's the 80s, and China is backwards. Deng Xiaoping comes into power, realizes Mao was killing people en masse.
Yeah, an alternative is to tariff the entire world and push them closer to China. Oh wait, we did that. Yeah, like he put tariffs on everybody, so everybody went to China where they're gonna get a better deal than they are with the U.S. Like, duh. What the fuck?
And it's basically like, thank God he's dead. We're not going to repeat those mistakes. We're actually going to let people get rich, but we don't know how to let people get rich. They ring, America, can you please teach us how to be rich?
Ring.
We go over there. In fact, first it starts with a conversation, I believe, with the Japanese. Japanese give them indications about how they're going to have to do this by decentralizing banking. They contact America. America goes over and basically helps them get all of the capitalist system up and running, how you need to decentralize who gets loans. You need thousands of banks, not a single bank. You need a VC environment. And so literally American VCs fly over there, of course, selfishly thinking that they're going to reap all these benefits. They get all of these companies to go over to begin teaching them. Deng Xiaoping has an official policy to bide your time and never take the lead.
Such a
And he's
cool
like, this is
alternate
part of this
history,
long
bro.
plan. We're eventually going to take over, but first we've got to like
come
get
up
all
with
this
one on his
information.
own.
And
That's so
so we
interesting.
realized
As he should make a video about his alternate history scenario. How many shrines are you at so far? I got all the shrines. I'm doing all the other shit, side quests and shit.
oh my God, we can get everything cheap by sending our manufacturing over there. But China's playing a different game. And they're like, we're going to start with those things, but we're going to get them to send their best and their brightest. Look at what they did with Tesla. And they say, hey, Elon, we're going to let you build a Tesla
you can see
factory
my-
over here.
the
Normally,
parts
we
I
would
have.
force you
I
to
have
have
max
50 to
arts,
51% Chinese ownership.
Well,
We're
I
going to
maxed
let
him
you keep the
out, nearly max arts or whatever.
whole thing. But you're going
Yo, what's up? What's up, little gup? How you doing?
to teach our engineers. Tesla now, over whatever, 10 years, 12 years that they've been manufacturing in China, is now some tiny fraction of the EV market when it used to be 100%. And they have just learned everything they needed from him and now have surpassed him, however much, massively. And so that's the game that they've been running. And Tim Cook said, I don't know, a couple months ago, he was like, I don't know what you guys think manufacturing is in China, but these are the best high-end manufacturers. If you run the stats of America post-World War I, leading into World War II, we were the dominant manufacturing power for an industrial age economy. We have
Again, why do we stop? Why do we stop, bro?
Now, and that's, by the way, why the probably apocryphal quote that the Japanese admiral said when he bombed Pearl Harbor, I fear all we did was wake a sleeping giant and filled him with a terrible resolve. What he was referring to is that America could just outproduce everybody in terms of ships, tanks, aircraft, everything. And so we
Bing chilling. Yo, what's up, G Williker? True, China. Good evening, what's up, Willow?
just turned all that machinery on to building the war apparatus. Now, flash forward, we're headed into the same style conflict with China, except China looks like us in terms of all the meaningful manufacturing like we did before World War II. So now, if we go into a head-on collision with China, we will not be able to come anywhere near their production levels. So now it's like, I get it.
How would,
Okay,
would we
so
ever
let's just
expect a
not
country
do
of
that then.
330 million people to be able to outproduce a country of, what is China, 1.7 billion people? I don't know how
Of
many.
course.
How?
By keeping these things yourself, making sure that you don't let go of them, building the incentive system to keep people focused on manufacturing, high-end manufacturing, the same way that we're doing with AI, with massive investments. To
Well, but
make
I'm saying,
sure-
where are you going to get, if you
Whatever you're talking about, and I mean, Destiny said it a million times in other places and whatever the fuck, but like, whatever you're talking about, like this, like, oh, you know, we need to get rid of, we need to go back to manufacturing. Like, that's at the expense of what? Like, what are you cutting so that we can get the manufacturing back? What are we cutting so that we could, or what progress are we trying to? Because like this alternate like scenario where the U.S. like never loses its manufacturing, and whatever the fuck, like where the sacrifice is coming from, because it has to come from somewhere, right? We can't be at the exact same place we are right now with all of our technological innovations and everything, with also keeping the level of manufacturing at the exact same state that it was 50, 60 years ago, right? It just doesn't, it can't happen. So who's he sacrificing? Like, that's what I want to know.
you want us to continue the high-end manufacturing we do now, what are we taking from to start doing
Okay, he's just saying the same shit. Okay, I'll just stop talking then. He's just gonna say the same thing. Fuck me.
low-end manufacturing again?
What do you mean, from a budget perspective?
No, from a human
Swear
capital
to
perspective. Our
pre-watch,
unemployment is like 4.5%. Where are we getting all the people to do the low-end manufacturing? We have to move people from high productivity jobs down to lower productivity jobs. We're going to have to give in
I
some part.
reject that wholeheartedly. So right now we have,
You just reject it. We just get infinite growth. Okay, cool.
it's like 4% unemployment, technically 3.8, something like that. But once you factor in all the people that have just checked out of the job market, it's like 12%. So it's a massive number that for some
So just all the unemployed people would just put them to work. Good one.
reason nobody talks about.
So the reason why
are
people
just
don't
like,
talk about
"There are
it is
no jobs like
because
this."
we have so there's different ways to measure unemployment. The most common way is just called the unemployment number. It doesn't include discouraged workers. This is the U3 unemployment number. You're talking about the U6. People like to bring up the U6 when they say the U3 is fake. The reason why the U6 unemployment isn't the thing that economists look at the most is because there's a lot of reasons why people might stop looking for work. They might be in education,
And
they might
I
be at
would
home,
put-
they might be
totally agree. But I
I've-
would put forward the biggest one right now, certainly the most meaningful and important, is that there is a type of person for whom a certain type of manufacturing job is the jam. And those have gone away. We've shipped something like 2 million jobs overseas in that core type of manufacturing job. And
Oh, if only we had the manufacturing jobs, all those people would not be unemployed. True.
the stats
Every one
anyway
of them.
show that that is the biggest reason that your average worker has been unable to up their wages. It hasn't been the breaking of the unions. That's not correlated in the private markets to increase wages basically at all. And so, but if you have a bunch of jobs that need a bunch of workers, now all of a sudden the workers have the power to actually negotiate better salaries. Now, if we need to bring in labor, like I think the whole world, the whole developed world is about to be in a really weird position where we just don't have the birth rates. And so we are going to have to bring in immigrants to fill these roles. So having a sensible policy about how we fill in those gaps, I don't think
So we're at a place where we need to bring in immigrants. Who am I going to? My name is Tom Bilyeu. It is November 6th, 2024. Or November, what is it? November 4th, 2024. I really believe all these things, okay? Who do I want to vote for? If I think that we need a sensible immigration policy so we can, because we are going to need immigrant labor in our fucking economy. Who should I vote for? Should I vote for the nice black lady or the evil white guy? It's truly a mystery.
would have been a problem at all. I think we took a suicidal approach to it, but there would have been a smart approach to get people in if there were jobs that truly Americans they had all the manufacturing jobs they could eat, then I think we'd be fine.
So then, so then your assumptions are that one, if we were to bring back a whole sector of manufacturing, we wouldn't have to take from anywhere because there's like a magical section of people that would be able to work these jobs that
When you
wouldn't
say
take
wouldn't have to take from anyone, you mean people?
as in you wouldn't have to move people out of higher productivity jobs to lower
I
productivity
don't think
jobs.
you're going to have to do high to low, certainly as the things change, but you might have to, as technology advances, but you might have to import people. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay,
Numbers
so
would be
so
what the
then
numbers
so
are.
that's the first thing, and the second thing is, so I'm just curious how I don't know the population of China. It's 1 point something billion.
Call it 1.4.
Okay, how would you expect us to be able to out-manufacture a country that's like 5 times our
It
population?
comes down to where you're putting your resources. So China was way bigger than us, and we were still outproducing them because they didn't have
'Cause they didn't have it yet. Like,
of years of being supported by the international banking community trying to spin them up. They didn't have people going over there and helping them to do everything our way. We did not see them as a competitor. And so we essentially traded cheap goods to build our biggest competitor.
But
And now
eventually
it's
they're going to
hey,
figure it
you
out,
reap what you
right?
sow.
Like how are you
Sure.
keep China from like is the assumption that they'll
I don't
never
think you can. I think on a long enough timeline, you're going to find
you can keep them from doing it? Or you
yourself in that
can't?
situation.
Like,
I'm just
you
sure.
keep China from like is the assumption that they'll
I don't
never
think you
eliminate-
can.
Oh, I
think
don't
on a
think you
long
can.
enough
Okay, okay.
timeline, you're going to find yourself in that situation. I'm just saying, don't be in a situation where they are both stronger than you based on size and stronger than you because you have outsourced your entire way of life to make sure that those prices come down.
Well, then it feels to me then like if we know that we can't win on mass production like that, that our goal would be to have higher and higher productivity jobs. American workers are some of the most productive in the world, where economically productivity is measured for how much a labor hour costs, or in 1 hour, how much like stuff can you produce, basically, right? So it feels like the goal then would be to move to higher and higher productivity jobs. So when we look at like what are the big things that people talk about right now, it's stuff like AI or stuff in computing, and these are the areas that America's still the leader on.
Do you steer by efficiency, like as you try to map this stuff out in your head?
What do you mean efficiency? Or-
Are you thinking along the lines of it is an obvious North Star to steer by whoever is better at this thing? So Americans are better at getting high output per hour work, therefore we should focus on that.
Oh, kind of. Well, the economic concept you're talking about is called comparative advantage, right?
Yes.
I'm just looking I look at productivity broadly because productivity can tell you the amount basically of like.
But is that your North
specialization.
Star, just so we don't talk past each
A
other?
bit, yeah. Because the more productive
Yeah.
your labor is, the more your workers are able to produce for the world, given the amount of time.
This is why free trade is good, because you can specialize in what you're good at, and other places can specialize in what they're good at, and then everybody wins.
Okay,
Right,
I have
lower-
a totally different North Star, which
What's
would
that?
explain. So my North Star is round it to national security and international dominance.
Yeah, but national security is your most productive stuff. Like what was one of the big reasons why we won World War II was because we had all of the best and brightest minds, and we were the first people in the entire world to research the atomic bombs, where people are factoring
Sort
them. Sure, but like I'm saying, like we got technologically there before anybody else.
Yes, that helped us with Japan tremendously for sure. But the real story of World War II is we were able to manufacture like 2/3 of every bit of equipment that was being sent over to Europe. So they were in our debt massively. We were able to aggregate all of the gold, and we were able to build our own military up at some ungodly level higher than everybody else. And we weren't getting bombed. So at the end of the war, now we have the gold, we have the manufacturing capabilities, we've got our
But that goes against his argument. That just means we were in the right place, right time, which kind of true. But that goes against your argument of like we should have kept our manufacturing all at the same level because that's how we were. Like there were other factors, not just the fact that we had so much manufacturing. There were other reasons why we could do that, and other like things involved.
our GIs returning home, getting educated. We have a massive baby boom, right? So there's all these things that go into that moment. But the linchpin, the one thing, if you knock that peg out, everything is different, is our ability to manufacture the thing that mattered in that moment.
Because that was like the most productive thing to work on at the time. But I think as technology has moved further and further into the future, other things become necessarily
Yeah, we
more
might be able to
important.
agree on that. Like if we end up saying the most productive thing that we could be manufacturing right now, or everything that we need for our modern way of life, technology, and war with China, then I would say yes.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. You fucking retarded. And you want to go back to fucking making boats and making fucking like hello? Does he hear himself?
I feel like those wars aren't going to be won by who can make the most ships. I feel like those wars are going to be won by who figures out like
So
the
what I
best
said.
missile defense
Okay.
systems.
Why
That's
do
going to be
why
part
do I
of it,
open my
but
mouth? Why do I do it?
all of this stuff is a cat and mouse game. So if what we find is, hey, we're the software kings of the world, we're better at AI, and so we assume that this is going to be war played on the AI battlefield, we're ready for it, they can't fuck with us. Well, then they go, oh, but they're not ready for drones because we have the entire drone supply chain, and so we're just going to swarm them with drones. And so yeah, like they're going to fight back with AI, and that's going to be devastating for us, but we're just going to keep droning them.
Sure,
So,
but then what do you think is easier to switch tactics for? For us to start manufacturing rudimentary drones, or for them to start manufacturing complex AI related stuff, software related stuff.
Nobody's standing still. We're not standing still on drones, and they're not standing still on AI. So
Sure, but everybody, I'm just saying that when you look at the world, everybody wants to be like what the US is. Nobody wants to be like what you're advocating the US becomes. Like the people that we
I don't
exported our
understand
supply chains to, they want to be more like America. They're not thinking
that's
like
not true. We exported our supply chain to China, and China has no interest in being like America.
absolutely. They're making huge investments in green energy. They're trying to make bigger investments into their microprocessor
That's
technologies.
what
They're
you think of as America?
the higher productivity, more specialized labor
Okay,
stuff.
so
yeah.
when you say more like America, you mean highly special.
Yes, more like America's economy and the way their economy is being, like our economy is being set up. Like, yeah, that is what he's talking about, obviously, in the context of a conversation about the economy.
Highly specialized labor producing like end of like supply chain levels of goods.
Okay, that makes sense in terms of just being economically efficient, but I don't see how that
Yes, everyone wants their economy to be more economically efficient. That's why China is going that way. Everybody else is going that way too. Like, duh.
collides with the argument in this moment.
That's why the U.S. is still the like great like the world superpower and still like fucking whatever.
That doesn't in any way, shape, or form alleviate the need for America to protect itself, for America to be economically strong, to make sure that workers are able to negotiate their pay better, to make sure that we have jobs that fit a massive bolus of a certain type of person that we have that right now has just checked out of the job market, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I would destroy my country to try to bring back old jobs because there's some sector of the
so
economy that
what's the part that would destroy it?
is regressing in terms of the types of goods that we manufacture. As in saying, like, I don't like the fact that we're making the X-87, well, I should say the F-35 plane.
Like what Tom's saying doesn't make sense on like a like just think about it, right? If he's saying that there's this magical set of workers that are currently unemployed because they're like manufacturing jobs are destroyed, why isn't somebody out there making factories and using those people for their labor? Like they can just do that now, right? If there's this magical set of people, but he's just wrong. That's not the case. There isn't this set of like people that are just waiting. They're waiting for the factories to be built and then they'll have a job. This doesn't exist.
Plane because we should be making more aluminum widgets. So we need to take a little bit away. But in your mind, you're trying.
Do you think I'm saying that?
I don't, but one of the
Yes.
frustrating things when it comes to economics is people only ever talk about one side of an equation.
I can talk about this whole thing top
No,
to bottom. You can go anywhere where you think I'm weak, and we can talk
Well, but the
specifically
problem
about
is you've fictitiously invented this huge working group of people that can move into a job with no
Yeah,
other
that's what I
negative
said.
benefits.
So
like
I may
what
be
I'm saying is that
wrong,
like
but
for the
I certainly have
manufacturing
not-
stuff, you are going to destroy higher productivity. You're destroying more advanced stages of your manufacturing sector if you want to bring back base manufacturing. That's an inescapable truth reality.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is perceived as false by me. So let's walk through and see if it really is false.
Sure.
So base assumption number one for
obviously
me
false.
is that there are very capable, almost exclusively men of prime working age right now to the tune of like 8%, something like that. It's very close to 8, if not exactly 8, that are capable but have checked out of the labor market.
Sure, that's that's probably maybe our fundamental big disagreement. I don't think that that's necessarily the case.
Meaning that stat isn't real.
I don't think so. I haven't heard that. Particular.
Because if that did exist, they would be utilized. People would be utilizing because if there's just this magical, like, it's really just supply and demand. If there's this supply of workers that are sitting around doing nothing, when somebody could be making money by using them, why would they not be being used? The fuck? No shit.
Okay, let's just so we don't bog down. If it were true, does that puzzle piece click? And now my entire argument makes sense to you, and at least has internal logic, though.
If
in
it
your
were,
mind,
if it was true, then I think looking for work for them might be good.
Okay.
But then the second issue, that's even assuming that was true, which I don't think it is, but that's the second issue that I have is on that road, whatever manufacturing we were to bring back to the United States would leave those people still in the exact same spot.
Okay,
Because
that's very possible.
Sure.
So now the thing that drives what manufacturing that I'm trying to bring back, and maybe it's just aspirational to get these guys back into jobs, and maybe once we
It
really
is.
look at the kind of things that I'm saying we need to bring back, because I'm not saying start making widgets, maybe we find, sorry man, like between AI, robotics, and just how high tech it is, just not going to be these guys, and they're still LOL or SOL. Yeah, very
There's still LOL. He meant SOL. He misspoke. Dumb fuck. Hold on, wait. I meant fuck. Well, that was the wrong one, but that also kind of works. He misspoke. Dumb fuck.
possible. So we'll set that aside. They're a
Okay,
big cloud
yeah.
of maybe.
Okay.
But the thing that's driving me saying we need to get jobs for them back is that's how you get them negotiating power again. Workers have negotiating power to drive their rates up, which for me is part of my North Star. It is an absolute must because you need a thriving middle class. And right now, if you can send jobs wherever you want or import people cheaply from wherever you want, workers will never have the power that they need to be able to negotiate higher salaries. So that's just like to avoid having my head lopped off as
Okay, then unfortunately, they're SOL.
a rich person, I know I need to do that. So that's like not even just a moral good. That has to happen. Like if you don't do that, you have destabilized capitalism to the point where it will break. It's broken many times in history for this exact reason. So
I guess so. Like the sanity check that I would have here is: do you feel like this is an area that we're at right now in the United States where we've done a lot of damage to our middle class or something?
1,000%. It's mathematically showable.
Okay, so then my question is what other country's middle class do you think is doing better than ours?
China.
That I just completely and totally fundamentally disagree with that.
America's middle class, they all want to come here. Sorry to tell you.
You don't think China increasing their wages went up 30x in the same period that Americans stagnated? From the 70s until now, they've had a 30x increase in worker salary. Ours have stagnated.
My son grew 100 times more than I did in the past 10 years of his life because he went from 4 to 14. And I probably haven't grown at all since.
Like perfect.
China's people are approaching. Their wages have grown more, but that's to become getting more in line with the United States.
Yeah. What do you think that does to the psychology of a nation? Do you think that it makes them sad that they've grown that fast?
No, but they're playing catch up to us.
But it's going to make them feel awesome.
How hard are those wood panels to put up on the set? I assume you mean? I have no idea. Probably pretty hard, I guess.
Right?
Yeah, but they're still behind us.
What is the psychology of a nation that stays flat for 40 years?
I don't know if I would say we've stayed flat.
We have stayed flat. Just math.
In what regard?
Salary. Real salaries versus cost of living has just it's flatline. In fact, cost of living compared to what people are making is going up. So
I think there's a whole separate conversation you could have on that.
Why do you think people feel like they can't make ends meet if everything is great?
Controlled.
Well, I'm not a politician, so I would say it's because the American consumer is incredibly spoiled and has no idea what the standards of living are across the rest of the world, and is constantly lied to by their own politicians about what other people are living like in the rest of the world.
Okay.
The reality.
I switched to something playing off the capture card on my PC, and there's a delay because I'm getting fucked right now in this game. I can tell. The reaction time is different.
The number reality is the American consumer is the strongest consumer on the planet, and other people would kill to have the horrendous standards of living. Our homes are massively larger. We have the latest and cutting edge technology when it comes to healthcare. We invent like all of the coolest stuff here. We're not caught in these weird manufacturing traps like Germany is, and our immigrants, even our illegal immigrants, are all at work. And in other countries, they're having legal immigrants that can't find work. Their unemployments are higher. Their inflations are worse. Like every part of their stuff.
There's a delay, Copium. There is. I swear. I'm not this dog shit at the game. I swear. I swear, dude. Trust me. I'm not dog shit at the game.
Is like not running as well. Every other country on the planet wants to be like the United States of America. And the U.S. consumer, the only reason we can even have these trade deficits we have is because the American consumer has so much power. And there are arguments you can make around like cost of living and everything else, but it's depending on how you factor it in, it's a whole separate conversation. But like for instance, like you could say like, oh, like the amount that you would spend on a console today is flatline. It's the same you would spend on a console, 20 years ago. And that's true. But like you could buy like a PS5 today, and in the past you could buy a PS1. So even if like technically the cost is the same or is flatlined in terms of real wages, you're getting a lot more for it. Same arguments can be made about stuff like healthcare, right? Even if healthcare costs are like fairly high, like a type 1 diabetic 100 years ago is dying in 2 years. Whereas today, it might be expensive or even more expensive because of the things they have to pay. Trends. So like, oh my God, the cost is going up. But it's also because now they live like normal lives almost. So it's hard to measure that directly. But when I'm doing like sanity checks on this, I'm just like looking at other countries. You mentioned China's growth. Part of China's growth has been their liberalization of their economy, foreign direct investment. The only reason China
their capitalism
even afford to grow is because we have so much money here, we have so much investment here, and we've grown also as a result of our relationship with China. And China's trying to race towards what the United States is right now. And I think it's an interesting, as a sanity check, like why if China's racing towards to get to where we are, why do we want to go back to where they're coming from?
Shit, I didn't even know it was a
And so I think the strategy that Trump right now is running is a be more China than China. I think that is suicidal. Okay, there were a lot of things you laid out, and I want to see if we can start putting some of these pieces together. So first of all, you put out the idea that if...
Also, you didn't say more China than China. You said China's trying to be more U.S. than the U.S. So what he's saying is be more U.S. than U.S. Like, duh. Fuck.
Americans knew how good they had it, that they wouldn't be as feeling bad about where they are as they are.
A little, yeah. And just in qualifying that, we should always push for better stuff. I think that's great. But there are some Americans who think that like in Europe, they have free healthcare and free everything else, and they pay no, like they think everything is so much better. Right. And it's not really the case.
You and I agree aggressively. And Lord knows, I wish that felt like a winning battle, but convincing Americans that they really do have a good,
the fuck is the...
it just doesn't line up with what I know about human psychology. So the Gini coefficient makes it very clear. The studies with monkeys make it very clear. If people look around...
Okay. Where the fuck are the shit that I have to shoot at? Is that? No, it's an acorn. Where is it? How many quarks do you have? I don't actually know. Okay, you can check on the loading screen now. I'll check the next time I do it. Oh, there it is. Fuck. I see it. Did I get it? I got it. Hell yeah.
and see
I'm
somebody
good.
else and
I'm
have a
so
perception
good.
that person's
So
being
did it?
treated better
Yeah,
than they
I
are,
saw it.
they're going to lose their shit.
Agreed.
Thanks, Caleb.
And right now, because of a very quantifiable economic problem, we've put young people in a position where they are buried under student debt largely, at a time where the government
Yeah. He cares a lot about student debt. That's why he hates Biden and loves Trump. Yes. Yes, Tom. Yes.
really is shrinking because the interest payments are growing and just gobbling everything up. It's more than defense. It's the third largest expense that we have in the government, and it's growing. It will become the second largest expense almost certainly before the end of 2025. So this is happening very fast. So your interest payments will, in the next couple of months, almost certainly pass Medicare or Medicaid as the second highest expense in the government. So it's like, that's creating this insane distortion in terms of what they can afford and what they can't afford, because the way that the government makes up for that shortfall is with money printing. Money printing is inflation. They're not related. They are the same phenomena. And so things are becoming more expensive precisely because the government is deficit spending. And so as long as they deficit spend, they are making things more expensive for people by taxing everybody. But the only way to hide from the taxation that is inflation is to own assets. Okay, well, great. Anybody can own assets, right? The bad news is only 10% of Americans own 93% of the assets. And I'm going to guess that follows another.
He's a Republican. And he votes Republican, bro. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. You really can't. Oh, I didn't know he was such a, he's literally just saying all the lefty shit, and he's like, yes, I love Trump.
Power distribution. And of the 10%, I'm sure that 80% are
the
20% of the
bro,
people.
the
And so
10%.
you're going to have some ridiculously small number that own all of the assets in America effectively. And then everybody else just gets absolutely
I just
hosed
got
by
fucking
inflation.
literally
And then they wonder,
ragdolled
why can't
across
I
the
make ends
fucking.
meet?
What was that?
Now, when we did this in the 70s, we at least had women that could go
fuck was
into the
that?
workforce and start making money. And so houses,
I
household
got
incomes
spotted by a
could
Guardian.
rise back
Fuck
up and
me.
match it, and cool, we were fine for another couple of decades. But we're now at the point where there's no that thing left anymore. There's no other person to put into the workforce. So I really think, despite that I agree with you very wholeheartedly, that people are in a position where they really do have it good. Poor people in America have it way better than people in other countries. However,
Dallas.
it really is that
He's
things are
throwing,
getting more
bro.
expensive. They really can't
It's
afford
the
it.
delay.
And
It's
the
the
only
delay.
asset they
Trust.
understand
Okay.
intuitively is a house, and houses are just completely out of reach because of inflation. And so now, because the deficit spending,
Because of inflation, that's why housing is out of reach. Like, bro, you can't, you just can't make it up.
they can't buy a house, they can't get out from under their debt, and they can't afford things. And so I'm not confused when they're like, hey, I really want to be a socialist. And I'm just saying the bad news is, though, that will speed this problem up. Now,
Sure. So I understand what you've said. I feel like there's a couple things that are difficult to understand, though. One thing, you said that deficit spending was bad because it makes things cost more. But then I feel like earlier you said one of the big things is we have to devalue the currency.
Yeah.
So
It's
wouldn't
ugly
printing more money
and
and
it's
devaluing the
hideous.
currency, wouldn't this play into the same thing? Would you want that to
if
happen?
I say you should never hit a woman, and then a woman rushes into the room and is hitting you,
Hell yeah. Hell yes, brother. Tell us when it's okay to hit women.
child with a baseball bat,
Tell
beat
me.
the shit out of that chick.
Okay.
So I'm just saying we're in a position where things are so bad.
This guy just forget
there are
about me?
4
What the
levers
fuck is
that you
happening?
have to pull. All of them are bad, but you have to pull all
See,
of them. You have
am
to
I getting
forgive some
trolled?
loans. Okay, and that just means wiping out the wealth of some
so
people.
then the inflation stuff you think isn't necessarily that big of a deal right now because we need to devalue our currency.
No,
for
the inflation
reasons.
is horrible, and I'm going to make it even worse. But the only way to get out of this predicament is to use deflationary and inflationary levers. We have 4 of them. 2 are deflationary, 2 are inflationary, and we're going to try to, oh God, get it just right and get it to the point where the people that we're stealing from by eliminating their, because when one person owes debt, that's somebody else's liability. Somebody
This
else's
guy is
asset.
such a
And so as you wipe out one
jokester.
person's liability, you wipe out their asset.
Republican socialism, fear-mongering work really well on this guy. Yeah, he's literally that's all he cares about. It's insane.
And so they just lost money that they work for. And it's just gone. And all you have for them is a sorry, that's just where we're at. So you're going to do some of that. And you try not to do so much that those people openly revolt. You're going to have to do some money printing because you have to devalue the debt itself in order to get out of this. You're going to have to tax the wealthy more. There's just no way around that because you got to generate some additional funds somewhere. And then you have to go into austerity, but not so much that you freeze up the economy. Ray Dalio details exactly how to do it. It's called beautiful deleveraging. No one's ever going to do it. But those are your levers.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, I understand this, and we don't have to retread too much of this. I don't want to circle the drain on this, but when I feel like I look at all of Trump's major economic policies, all of them just make everything you said worse. That's what I feel like. So you talk about Gini coefficient inequality.
So out of this, your goal would be to convince me we're in a tough spot, Tom, but you're just better off with the Democrats.
1,000,000,000%.
Got it.
The reason being that there are 2 huge things that are easy money makers.
And really fast, just so I can up to this. The reason that you want to talk about that, which I find
I almost don't blame him for being this deluded after being given $1 billion for his protein cookie. Are you fucking serious right now? He's well, he's not a billionaire, but is he? Right? But Jesus Christ.
Mildly interesting, but not super interesting,
We'll look
is
into
because we
Tom
live
Brady
in
a
a
little
political
more.
world. We are going to have to elect somebody, and so let's just focus on who the somebody is.
A little bit, yeah. But it's also secondarily played into a thing where, like, somebody is telling you, you know, I really, really love, I love sweet foods. I love sweet foods. They're my favorite. And I'm like, oh yeah, me too. Here's a candy bar. And then they dump like a bunch of salt in their mouth. And I'm like very confused. I'm like, I feel like something is not matching up. So like, I hear you give a lot of like baseline stuff.
Yep.
And I'm
Literally. Literally, that's what it is.
like, that sounds good. I think I agree with that. But then the prescriptions are being like wildly different in terms of my
Look
mind.
up the tingle set, guys.
So two
Look.
easy ways to make money.
Look, I'm Tingle. I'm Tingle. It's him.
That the Democrats were doing is, one is funding your IRS. You have to be able to collect the tax revenue that's owed to you. And the money we're saving here is on the scale of hundreds of billions of dollars for what the IRS itself has said is out there for monies that they could get. I think $600 billion is the last number I saw. So that's the first thing. Biden expanded, was it 80,000 agents or something? And then Trump has now peeled that back. So that's one way to do it. And then the second way is income taxes are just such a nice and easy way to collect money. Everybody has a job. Generally, people have jobs. The money's just taken to your paycheck. It's super easy to administer. It's very easy to collect. And it's very easy to kind of like target different people with different tax rates. Tariffs are like the messiest, worst way to absolutely fuck over somebody who has to buy certain goods that is more important to them. Like it's a consumption tax basically, but it's a consumption tax that's probably disproportionately hurting poorer people. So when I look at Trump, we're making some money now through tariffs, which I would argue are also doing external damage. But forget it. Just looking at the consumer. So tariffs are probably one of the worst ways to tax the United States.
Where's the other Korok puzzle thing? There's only one. Fuck.
And then he expanded the tax cuts, which is severely decreasing our government revenue. And then he peeled back all of our IRS collection stuff because they hate it. And then to satiate our debt woes, we got Doge, which went from saving $2 trillion to maybe $9 billion, if that. And it's like everything I've seen Trump do is horrible. Kamala wouldn't have solidified the tax cuts, which would have helped a lot on the revenue side of things. They would have maintained the hiring of the IRS agents, which so we can enforce the tax codes on the books, which is good. And then we wouldn't be doing this weird tariff thing, so we can negotiate.
DSP would solve the puzzle by looking hey, here's the map right here. I'm at the Kazotan prison. He would solve the puzzle by going he would say, oh, where's the other part of the puzzle? And then he would try to swim over to the side to see if it's over there, and then he would drown, and then he'd get mad and break his controller and yell at his chat and tell him to give him money, which is what you guys should do to me, by the way. That's what he would do, I'm guessing.
Better trade deals if we wanted to, or we would at least continue to have the poorest people be able to afford the things that they want without disproportionately taxing them to try to make up for.
Wait, hold up. Wait, holy sneaky bastard! What did I do?
New thing that she would have continued, which was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Those are the big things that I see, and it just feels like all of them playing totally opposite directions from the Democrats and the Republicans. Yeah,
it's interesting. Preparing for this episode and listening to
we're getting really into this.
But I mean, I love this. Hopefully, my audience at least will enjoy this as well, as we've really become an economic focused group. But there are base assumptions that you and I don't share that make us look at the same thing and then walk away with very different conclusions.
And what is the most important base assumption that you think we're different on?
Based on what I know about you, I think the most important thing is
I think you're just too pro-Democrat. I think you just show for Democrats, and that's all you care about. That's
the threat level you feel from Trump. And your threat level from Trump is, I don't know if, I think you would say that at least in your lifetime, there has never been a politician that was more dangerous than Trump from we actually break the American system.
And Tom wouldn't?
And we go down a super dark authoritarian path, like in reality, not in haha meme land.
Yeah, well, I would say we're already down that path. We've taken several steps down it already,
Yeah. So that's where we disagree. I don't share that assessment.
Because you're retarded.
Even though I'll look at all the same things and I'm going to nod and be
like, no, you're not looking at the same things. And if you are, then that should be embarrassing for you, that you're looking at the same thing and coming to a different conclusion. Because you're retarded, but yeah, what are you going to do?
Like, yeah, that's terrible, and all the places you would expect me to, but the amplitude of him does not hit a threshold for me where I feel like this is a virus that's going to escape the lab and this is just going to go awry. Now,
such a joke.
Trust me, it is entirely possible that life teaches me that I am wildly misreading the situation.
No, life won't, because you're rich as fuck, and that's it, right? So life won't teach you that, actually. But, yeah, who cares? Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Because I do think that he has authoritarian tendencies. I do think if he's...
Wait, Kick Upton, what was the hold up sneaky bastard thing? Is that a thing he says? I don't watch CSP. I've just seen like clips of him.
a way to run for another term, he would run for another term. We look at these things, and
Can I ask just on that as like a thing? This is maybe a little unfair because I'm sure you talk to a lot of people. Maybe you don't have all this in your head, but can you think of, if you were to think of our talk
He's about it.
like a year ago,
Someone wants to give you money after I say true. Oh, yeah. Yep.
we
me
both
money.
made different predictions about what we thought like Trump would look like.
Hmm.
Do you think there was anything that I was majorly off on? And then do you think there was anything you were majorly off on?
when I hear you describe what's happening, it's not the world I recognize. So it would
What?
be, is he doing authoritarian things? Yes. Did you call that? Yes. Is the stuff that he's doing freaking me out? No. So national
What? Oh my god. He's doing authoritarian things, but that doesn't freak you out? And you're crying about socialism? What the like? Oh my god, bro! I'm just. How do I become? I guess this guy apparently was like a fucking. I'm assuming this guy was like a millionaire before he fucking got into shit. Fuck! I fucked up. I took the wrong apple. Fuck me. I have to come back again. I say, what do I have to do to just riff as hard as this guy? And I'll do that, because Jesus Christ, if it's...
Guard
Yeah.
sending him into the States. It's weird. He shouldn't do it.
That's weird, and he shouldn't do it. That's weird. The National Guard sending National Guard into states illegally against the wishes of the governor unnecessarily to both waste your federal tax dollars and like intimidate protesters. That's just weird. That's just weird. He shouldn't do it, guys. It's weird. Just, bro.
But if they don't want him to, unless something's really like out of pocket,
Mhm.
that one to me feels like my wife, if she is
My wife. He said it.
about to come on her period, she really does parse data differently.
Sure.
Stimulus differently. She responds to stimulus differently. But I know you don't say it the first moment you notice it. You really got to push in deep before you're like, okay, hold on a second. I think the stimulus no longer, or the response no longer matches the stimulus. So it's like you really got to give it some room to breathe. So I personally
No shit, it doesn't freak him out. He's an enlightened centrist. True. Yeah, he doesn't care. He's okay with fascism, simple as that. He doesn't care about the rules, but for damn sure he will wrangling them over the rules. True. Literally.
don't mind what he's doing because I don't like
Just blood saying, I had
like
no
take
clue.
the
I wish I could tell you.
the space outside of the ICE facility. To me, like law and order, like you gotta buckle down on that. You can't have people throwing shit, breaking shit, throwing rocks.
So that wasn't happening. But just to be clear, the Trump administration is lying when they're talking about the massive amounts of violence that are happening. It's just not true. So he's just believing the propaganda. So yeah, no shit. You would think that then.
That's just a hard pass for me. So for him to go in and say, hey, we're cleaning this up. When I hear the numbers on
Something
Chicago.
real quick. So you said clean this up. So here's something I'd be curious about because you know a lot of numbers in terms of when 130%, debt to GDP ratio
He's gonna hit him. Gonna hit him hard. Let's get it.
or 18 months is
You know a lot of numbers about this, but funnily enough, you don't know the numbers about what Trump's actually doing. Just no understanding.
unsustainable, whatever. I'm curious, how many countries have survived after the head executive has started to weaponize the military against its own citizenry? Curious what the standard survival rate is on a country past that point, because what Trump is doing with the National Guard is something that I don't know, since the Civil War, I'm not aware of any president ever abusing the National Guard in that way. They're not supposed to deploy to a state without the consent of the governor, and they're generally supposed to do it in like times of great emergency with the governor requesting.
So it's interesting. Again, you and I look at the same thing. And
Well, fuck you, Destiny, for not saying the right thing here. So he's kind of right, but he's got the facts a little bit mixed up. So like it's true that you're not supposed to do this without the consent of the governor or like the governor asking you to, but there have been cases where it has been done, but it's in cases of like insurrection, like the governor is not enforcing federal law, and you do need that force to be able to do it. Like famously in the 60s for desegregation, Ruby Bridges, National Guard had to escort her to school, yada yada, right? But in those cases, it is actually like insurrection, and the people aren't following federal law and trying to disrupt it. That's not happening here, which is why it's not okay in this case.
see something different. So I don't view what he's doing as weaponizing the military against his own citizenry. That is definitely not what I read.
Okay, well, but so
Because you're retarded. So, but that's okay. Who cares? Who cares? It's whatever, bro. It's whatever. Oh, fuck, it's raining. I can't do that. Yeah, we'll do that.
So factually, it just is. If a military person is turned for law enforcement purposes, that's the military against the citizen.
But if they're upholding the laws
they're
of
not
the
supposed to
country,
uphold the
aren't.
laws. That's what the military is for. The military is to fight foreign enemies.
The military does not do law enforcement. That's not the job of the military.
Laws are upheld by, you can say federal law enforcement or state law enforcement or local law enforcement, but not the military.
So looking into the specifics of whether he's breaching
The specifics. Like, does he not think people smarter than him have looked into the specifics on this and come to this determination? Does he think Destiny's just making shit up? Like, probably that is what it is, but... Like, dog, come the fuck on. Are you serious?
the Constitution or not is a different question, but I will say, just like you feel
But he would say, well, if it is against the Constitution, I mean, is that so bad, though? That's what he would say.
like, listen, there's checks and balances that are going to keep Mamdani, even though he
Specifics
has
of
the
the
same
law.
murderous ideology.
Of course you don't, because you're 12 years old. Yeah, true. It is everybody just wants to be 12. Like, of course you want the military to be, like, against the citizens because you're 12 and you think, oh, big strong guy, woohoo, yippee. And yeah, wouldn't want to get into the weeds here. Oh, I haven't heard of that. Like, it's the
Ideology
classics.
that has killed and killed and killed. There are things that are going to stop him from being able to kill and kill and kill.
What?
Say, just like
I
you
will
feel
say-
like, listen, there's checks and balances that are going to keep Mamdani, even though he has the same murderous ideology that has killed and killed and killed. There are things that are going to stop him from being able to kill and kill and kill.
He thinks that there will be checks and balances that will stop Trump from doing things he's not supposed to be able to do. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying right now? Like, are you fucking with me? Are you fucking with me? Like, this is a fucking joke. Rent Free is notoriously known for its massive debt. Yeah, literally. Also, hey Fudge. I don't know if I'd seen you before, but in chat. But yeah, like, obviously he's talking about like socialism, communism, whatever, with like, oh, say murder ideology, but Trump's, like, where Trump's at is far closer to literally killing people and kill and kill and kill than Mamdani is, and yet he's afraid of Mamdani and not afraid of Trump. Granted, there's an easier reason that he's afraid of Mamdani and not afraid of Trump, because Trump isn't a threat to him because he's rich and white. So
I don't think Trump is going to use the military to coup the cities or anything like that. And
that's literally,
if he does, that would be a huge alarm bell for me.
Even though he did try to do a coup before, and even though he has said that he intends to deploy the military against the wishes of people, and even though he is talking about extra security measures around polling stations that he's saying...
The way that I see, and I think you're referencing January 6th, the way that I see January 6th is something along the lines of...
my God, please, I'm gonna lose it, please.
I'm not going to coup the government unless you're going to do it, right? One of those where it's like, he's not coming out and saying it. I've seen what that really looks like. Like, if you look in history of people who are actually like, I'm here to coup the government, it looks dramatically different.
Dude, that's not the... Oh my God, are you fucking serious right now? Are you shitting me right now? He didn't use the military and he didn't do the maximal worst kind of coup possible. Therefore, it wasn't a coup, and therefore, it's not that bad. He literally just thinks it's not that bad. Oh, it's just not that bad, you know? I mean, it's bad, yeah. Like you know, he's kind of, you know, it was bad, but it's not that bad. Like, actually fucking use your money and buy something, bro. Like, I don't know. Nothing he does is bad because I fracture my perception of his actions to a manner that, like, yeah, like, just anything bad he does, he'll make an excuse for it, and then therefore nothing he's doing is bad.
It looks about exactly the same. Hitler looked exactly the same.
No
Yeah,
way.
for sure, 100%.
That is absolute madness. So this
Well, Hitler killed 6 million Jews. Yeah, what did he do before that? Like, are you retarded? There was a point in time where Hitler hadn't killed all the Jews. And he didn't look like bro.
Hitler was amassing like private brown shirts, getting them to go and physically beat people up. Not like...
Not immediately.
So the biggest difference between Hitler and Trump, which is very unfortunate, is that Hitler had to be more intelligent and more subversive because Hitler didn't already have the support of the entire population. So where you reference brown shirts, Donald Trump is just deploying ICE agents and trying to fight with the Supreme Court that he can racially profile people, or he is deploying...
Of course you don't think it's a coup because you didn't use the military, you're 12, yeah. Yeah, he's 12. He's 12. That's why he thinks, oh, he didn't use the military, therefore not a coup.
the National Guard to places saying that he's solving crime. Like anytime your head executive of your country is saying we're using the military for law enforcement, that's such an insanely scary idea. And when you're deploying, when Governor Newsom is speaking at some arena and for no reason Trump is just deploying federal agents all over this, like this is one of the reasons why the Bill of Rights, why the Constitution was created. It's one of the reasons why we had the Articles of Confederation before our constitutional convention, is because states said, I'm not going to let a federal government send your shit in here and tell us how to do our stuff. And now conservatives and maybe the country, a lot of people in the country are like, oh, well, you know, if the military wants to do law enforcement, that should be a deeply unnerving thing. I just don't see much of a difference there in terms of Trump sending his people. Like he's tried to get more people to sign up for ICE. He's increased the budget of it like 10x. He's written executive orders to like try to facilitate more law enforcement joining, you know, his military. So, you know, like people like the brown shirts eventually become things like the Gestapo or whatever, right? Like the SS. I mean, Trump just is already in government, is already president, has it. So I just don't see a significant difference there, I guess.
Also, like, if you're gonna make this, if you're gonna say, oh, Trump doesn't have his own private army, therefore he's not like Hitler, right? Like, did we forget who did Jan 6? Did we forget who Trump told to stand back and stand by, and then they went to Jan 6 and did Jan 6 for him? Like, are we just gonna forget about that? Like, brother, what do you like? He's just retarded. He's just a retard. It really is that simple. He simply cannot be asked to know these things, so he doesn't care, because it's not going to affect him. None of it will. Because he's rich, and white, and privileged, and that's it.
So when I look at that, and with so reading Mein Kampf, seeing what his plan was, seeing how he enacted it, seeing how he would walk into a room with his thugs and be like, are you going to get on board? If they say no, he'd walk out and his thugs would just shoot him. So you may have a mental map that that's the kind of person that Trump is. I do not share that mental map at all. And because I don't have that mental...
What? Right, I need to rewatch that. I'm sure he said something that wasn't that retarded, right?
Seeing what his plan was, seeing how he enacted it, seeing how he would walk into a room with his thugs and be like, are you going to get on board? If they say no, he'd walk out and his thugs would just shoot him.
So Hitler maximally just killed people for not agreeing with him and not getting on board. Like Trump is getting rid of people, or, you know, imprisoning his fucking political opponents and indicting them and fucking... You mean like that? Like, yes, he's not literally killing these people. Therefore, it's okay?
So you may have a mental map that that's the kind of person that Trump is. I do not share that mental map at all. And because I don't have that mental map of Trump, I can't make the jump to like, oh, this is the kind of thing. It's just going to keep escalating and escalating and escalating.
So when Trump says things about like deporting Mamdani.
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, he's going to say, like, deporting Mamdani. Like, Trump literally said that Liz Cheney should be in front of a firing squad. Specifically because she tried to fucking... Like, she was on the J6 committee. Like, he literally said that. He also said the Second Amendment people will have to do something about Hillary Clinton before he was even president. And yet, this is the guy that... well, you know, I don't know. He's not literally killing them, guys. He's not literally killing them. Come on.
That doesn't sound like it's approaching that. Because that's that's the one step off of like killing somebody. Is I'm going to deport you. I'm exiling you from my country because I don't like you politically.
Destiny, I like you a lot, but you will say the most unhinged shit, and I'll just be like, look, it's Destiny. You got to contend.
Yeah, but Destiny's a fucking streamer, you retard. Destiny's a streamer. That's the president of the United States, you fucking idiot. Oh my god, something needs to be done about these centrists, okay? Something needs to be done. Not saying what, I'm just saying something has to be done.
Contextualize it. He's got a whole thing about you have to use this kind of bombastic rhetoric to get people's attention, but he's really a sensible guy. And so I am always quick to be like, I think I know who Destiny
so you think Trump's just a sensible guy? That's what you think?
Destiny is as a person. Like, I'm gonna like give space for that.
Okay.
I feel the same way about Trump.
Do you think that I would speak the exact same way if I was a president of the United States? There are ways that you talk to friends that I'm sure you would never talk to an employee like. There are ways
Here's how I've mapped you.
Okay.
You are extremely intelligent.
Sure.
You have many gears, and you will use the gear that's effective.
Bro. We get it. You like Destiny, bro. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw that you needed to do one of your patented...
Scholar dropout.
I say unhinged in a fun, playful way. If you had to do one of your patented Destiny, no longer Stephen Bonnell, like Destiny unhinged rants because your base needed to know you were there, the thing that made them love you, that person's still in there, that you've not become some cuck politician, you would do it. And
what the fuck? He's not trying to be a politician. That he couldn't. Like what the?
So I guess I understand you saying that, but like there are things that like even in Mamdani's acceptance speech saying that like he's going to be mayor for all of New York and he's going to try to do whatever he can to do right by all of, you know, New Yorkers or whatever. I'll say things like I think MAGA's lost their fucking mind. I think half this country is insane.
By the way, Section 2C here, Trump did set up a private force from civilians. They show measures to address the crime rate. Oh, did he also do like citizen shit? And damn, I didn't even know that. Fucking yeah. Then there you go. There it is. 1, 2.
If I was an elected leader of people, especially if
3.
half my constituents were MAGA, I wouldn't say that, right? I think it's a little bizarre to look at my speech patterns and then say, well, as long as Trump is better than that, like we occupy totally different lanes.
Trump is better than that.
Like I say a lot of unhinged stuff, but my role is entertainer, activist, like political pundit at most. Like that's the lane that I'm in. If I was doing advocacy for a particular cause, if I was an elected politician or leader, like my tone would change significantly to match the new role. Like,
sure, I get that, but if Trump doesn't view the world that way and is therefore violating the ethos that you have, this is an idea that's helped me a lot. If you look at the way somebody behaves and go, what would it mean if I did that? And then you're like, holy shit, that would be so crazy. You have to look at them and go, what does it mean when they do that? So and this is where we just read Trump differently.
When they do that, yeah, you read it differently because it doesn't affect you, and it's never going to affect you. No shit, you read it differently.
And I know I'm totally, if he ends up being a maniac, then I was just wrong and I could not read this.
Ends up being a maniac? Ends up? And yeah, like he just doesn't care. He doesn't care.
And I made catastrophic
I understand you
errors.
say that, but like he has done all the things.
I think you're misreading it. I think the view of amplitude that you have is way off the fucking mark. So him sending in troops, if he...
That's not a big deal.
To me, not at all.
You think him playing games with...
He sent them to LA. Sure. What's different in LA? Literally nothing.
And no other president has found the need to do this, to function this way.
No, we're not. This is the first time we've been in a populist moment in modern history. So
what? A populist moment? That's what gives him the justification to do this? Are you joking right now?
And then the second thing is, or another thing is, what about playing games with FEMA funds? Telling some states that if you don't follow me politically, I'm not going to make FEMA funds available. He's saying he's going to pull federal funding from
Trump
New York.
will weaponize anything and everything that he thinks he can get away with.
Sure, but so that's the thing he'll do, right?
Yeah.
But you just said weaponize anything and everything he can get away with. So why not deport Mamdani if he could?
Yeah. Would I be surprised if he actually deported Mamdani? Yes, I would be.
Why?
Why would he be surprised? Why? He's retarded. That's fine. Okay, thank you, Omar, for giving the quote. DC Safe and Beautiful Task Force established an executive order 14252, March 27th. To establish an online portal for Americans with law enforcement or other relevant backgrounds and experience to apply to join federal law enforcement entities. Support each law enforcement agency that is a member of DC so that the training, manning, hiring, and equipping a specialized unit is dedicated. That could be deployed subject to applicable law and others. Well, it's just they're just applying for this like thing, right? It's like it is kind of what we're saying, but it's a little bit different. In a way, but also like what is a private task force if not like civilians becoming federal agents that are at your beck and call? Like, right? Like, come on. Also, wait, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go turn the AC down. It's a little warm. That last line of in other cities, well, yeah, kind of, but also like this isn't like technically this isn't a private like military or whatever, right? It's still part of whatever the fuck shit, you know what I mean. I don't know, I think you do. Why is this shit just here? Drown.
But I think
if I'm looking for leadership on this, I would look at Rubio and the State Department. I would look at the fact that they abolished all of USAID without any input from Congress, and I would look at the fact that they are selectively deporting visa holders based on their position on Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, like Mahmoud Khalil. They just like got rid of his shit, and that's it.
That seems to be that maps on pretty cleanly.
So you look at that and feel like, whoa, we've gone full Gestapo.
Yeah, he's
well, like full Gestapo. Like, can you not see like degrees of anything? Like, like you might even say so, and like that might even be fine. But it's like, is that your line? Like once it's exactly a Gestapo, then that's when it's an issue. Like, is that really his position? Like for real?
He's taking the First Amendment rights away from visa holders for issues that he thinks are politically expedient, and then deporting people as a result of that. That's like way beyond any American pale that I think that like it's so far gone. That's crazy at that point.
Look, if he's violating due process in a way that I'm unaware of, yeah, bad.
Okay, suing pollsters because he doesn't like the polls that they do, or suing the media companies, the FCC pressure to get
but so
Jimmy
this
Kimmel
is
out.
where we get into the dirty tricks. First of all, Jimmy Kimmel went
fall
back.
down
So
the fucking hill. Where's this guy going? Where'd it go? The fuck? Did I kill it? I'm so confused. Did I kill the did I kill it? Did I kill the Stalnux? What happened? I mean, I'll take the W, but okay, cool.
I don't
He
think there
did
was
come
any
back after a huge
major
public
pressure.
outcry. There was pressure by the FCC to have him fired, and then a threat to pull licenses from all the underlying companies if they didn't.
Right, but do you think that that's unique to him? Do you
Yes.
think that? Interesting. That does not match the reality that I live
There's
in.
no
Why the fuck would you think that? Who else did that? What is the other example of somebody going to their FCC like fucking person? What happened? Rewind time. This is wrong game. Sorry, kick out then.
no example you can give on the Democrat side of anything remotely like that.
So when you look at all of the information on the Russia hoax, to you, not a hoax. Russia really was involved. That was all above board.
1
Obama
million.
wasn't
It was. It was. Like he's just retarded. He's just unaware. He's clueless. He's a fucking moron.
Of
trying
course.
to do. Okay, so then
But I've read all the underlying documents.
Yeah,
I've read the Mueller
very fair.
report. I've read the it's all. Not only is it true, it's worse than most people
so
even.
your map is Democrats honorable, Republicans Trump.
It's not his map. That's the reality. That's the truth. That's not his opinion. That's just true. You can find the information.
Especially unhinged.
It's all
liars who
available
will
to
do
you.
whatever to amass more power.
100%. Yeah.
Not my read in the slightest.
Okay.
So
and then I'll just say that a year ago I
Because
made a bunch of
you're
predictions. I
retarded.
feel like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Was Biden cognitively capable of being president?
I think absolutely. I never saw any
Yeah,
evidence
there's
that he
literally
wasn't.
no. There's no reason to think otherwise. There's zero reason to think otherwise. Like literally, there's no reason to think otherwise.
Then we just again we look at the same thing and we see something different.
Sure.
And
If
that
I were to point to an example, if I were to ask you, did Biden need his executive orders explained to him when they were brought? You couldn't find a single thing of that happening.
I have
right?
to imagine Biden wouldn't be able to take his own medication without somebody explaining it.
Sure, you can say that, but the difference is that Trump has already lied about his medical history. Do you acknowledge that his doctors lied as well?
I don't
Knocked his eye out. He blindly walked to the cliff, stopped, then died. Yep.
know, but would not be.
He has the
surprised.
chronic venous issue.
Would
that
not be
okay, so he
surprised.
did. He lied about his medical history. Biden never lied about his medical history that we can see.
Then he doesn't know it or something. The
Sure.
man had dementia, whether it was Alzheimer's or not, I don't know. But like,
You can say that, but you have no evidence for that.
yes, I do.
What?
I
Because of the way he
trust
spoke?
my eyes because of the fact that inside of their own government in administration, they had a group that referred to themselves as the Politburo, which, as you well know, is the group in a
So, did they actually do Politburo things? Like, what is your?
communist country that runs the country. So to me, like, and again, this is a what are my sensitivities versus what are yours? I am totally freaked out by
Sure, and Trump had fucking like the Doge people who like. Trump had Elon in the government who literally didn't like Nazi salute, and that's not an issue to you. Like, it's just unserious.
a communism, socialism.
Okay,
for
so let's get
reasons.
away from the random reports of politics. What was how did that come out in a policy manner?
Oh wait, kick up dinner. When you're saying that, did you like go back and look? If you want to check, like, where did the eye go? Did the eye just disappear? Because like what's supposed to happen is he walks towards the eye and puts it back in his skull, but it just disappeared. I don't know where it went. The eye just it's gone.
What was the what is
Maybe
our
I wasn't there.
This
Yeah,
is
where did it
my
go? Like,
map
I was
of the
hitting it
situation
1
that
second,
You
and then it
did
just
not,
was
for
gone.
some
I don't know
number
where
of
it went.
years or some percentage of the time, that Biden was not actively the one running the country.
because I don't have any evidence of that. Whereas
Well,
today, I can
so-
say, so like, for instance, here's the thing. We just saw Trump admit that he had no idea, I guess, that he pardoned the Binance guy or whatever.
He didn't say he didn't know that he pardoned him. He said he didn't know who he was.
So Who pardoned him?
This guy's telling me who I trust. You should pardon this guy because this is all bullshit. This is Biden going after these guys. Yeah, Biden going after anybody in crypto. Cool.
So what you've just
But he doesn't know anything about him, and somebody else is
right,
doing
there's
it for him.
There's somebody else running the government besides Trump.
No,
And
I
there's
think you are. Look, even as a CEO, it's not that you're not running the company. It's that you trust certain people to have a sense of like what's going on. They're going to bring it to you, get you to weigh in. But I'm saying if they're not.
Yeah, but when you're signing something, you didn't know what the fuck you were signing. So if you're signing a pardon, you're supposed to know what the fuck you're signing. Like, what the hello? This guy's just retarded. He's just retarded. He'll make every excuse possible.
Not bringing it to him if they're not
For this
getting him to
guy.
weigh in. That he's just completely checked out because he can.
Okay, while you were whacking the eye, his body glitch launched the eye far away. Oh, well, there you go. Just glitched out. Fun.
Hardly talk and hold a thought in his
to hear
head.
it.
That's a very different thing than
Fuck it,
you're running
why
an
not?
entire country. You've got all these
So
international
who is
deals.
telling Trump who to pardon?
I don't know who that person
That's supposed to be the power exclusively granted to the
Yeah,
president.
so they bring it to him. They make the argument. And he says,
Who's
"Yeah,
they?
I'm here for it." Whoever the person was that came to him.
Who is that?
But
It
if
doesn't bother you. You don't even know who that
hold on.
is.
It's
Yeah.
a knowable name, right?
No, it's not. We don't know
Okay,
who's
so you're
giving these
saying
things.
they're gonna like keep that under shroud.
I'm saying that the weird stuff that you're worried about under Biden, that we have no evidence
It's
of it ever
happening.
happening, we see it happening right now on TV with Trump. But for some reason, you're not perceiving that. Trump is
it's not
pardoning
that I'm
people, and he
not
doesn't know anything about them, and he can't answer questions about them. There are politicians being killed in this country. It happened to the 2 Minnesota lawmakers. He didn't know anything about it sometimes, even though he did 6 months earlier. He told Walls, I'm not calling that guy. He's a yeah.
That you give such a pass to Biden in a way that I cannot
A pass? You're giving a pass to. You're giving way more of a pass to Trump than Destiny will ever give to Biden. What the fuck are you talking about?
reconcile.
Because I'm trying to tell me what is the evidence of Biden being senile that doesn't involve him
Oh,
being a shitty debater.
Put the clips on. There are
Oh, the clips. Oh, the clip, like the one where Biden's like walking like the wrong way in a field, like the one that was where you can just look at a different angle and he's walking towards a person that's there to like say hi to them. You mean like that? Like those clips?
literally
Yeah,
can't
bro.
speak
Yeah.
at times.
So besides him being a bad speaker,
No. It's not being a bad speaker. That is cognitive decline.
so you have no examples besides him being. If we were to
This
compare,
is so weird.
Well, here, I'll
I
tell you, if we were to
watched for
compare
4
Biden's
years.
State of the Union to Trump's State of the Union, which one do you think sounded more coherent?
I mean, with Trump for sure, far
You're retarded. Like you're just a retard if you think that.
and away.
Absolutely
a
not. I totally
thousandfold.
disagree. Trump not only so for instance, Biden was able to deliver his State of the Union while I think Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene were standing up and screaming at him in Congress. He had a comeback for him and he continued on. When Trump had any people making noise, Mike Johnson started saying he was going to throw people out of Congress because he couldn't deal with it. Trump repeats the same 5 talking points over and over again, right? Well, the difference is like you can say, well, just look and see, and I can give you examples.
I guess you had the eye down the cliff the direction he was walking and you were gliding. Huh. Let's see the clip. I'm curious. The fuck did it go? Let's see the clip.
Pollsters because he doesn't
Wait, how did
like
it go over there?
the polls that they do are suing the media companies, the FCC
You see it. The direction he was walking and you were
FCC
gliding.
pressure.
So
Before we
let's
get
see.
into the dirty tricks, first of all, Jimmy Kimmel went.
While I was gliding? Where's this guy going? Where'd it go? Oh, you think that's it right there? I think that's a luminous stone. I don't think that's the eye. It might be though. It could be. I thought it might have been 2, but I thought it seemed like the glow of a luminous stone. But you could be right. Did I ever look in the direction after the guy died? So, if it was still there, then that's not it. But if it's not there, then maybe. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Just disappeared. Destroyed. Reduced atoms. Yo! What the fuck? Thanks, DRT, for the raid. My brother. What's good? How was the fucking 3-hour movie from the 50s or whatever? I just could not watch that shit. I'm so sorry. The people are retarded. Democracy sucks. And ranked choice voting is dog shit. You should just always do approval voting. I don't know why. Ranked choice is the chosen one. When you just want movies to be picked as fast as possible. Like you can still do a runoff, just also do approval. You know what I mean?
example after example. How many illegal immigrants came into this country? It started at 10 million under Biden, then it was 15, 20. The last I heard from Trump, it was 25 million came in. I don't know what the actual number is. I see that he's lied about his health. That seems to be the case. He just got an MRI recently. We don't know what it was for. They're not releasing the evidence there.
Let's go one by one because wall of facts,
Sure,
which
it's not
admittedly is a very impressive technique that you use.
Sure.
But if you take them one by one,
That's a true. The debate tactic, guys. He's talking fast. It's debate tactics.
should we have opened the border?
Should we have
The border wasn't open.
Open the border?
Yeah, just open borders, let people in.
No, but we never had open borders.
Really?
Correct.
Yeah, really? What? Wait, we didn't have open borders? What? Like, this guy, he's a Republican. That's what he is. He believes all of their propaganda. That is what he does. It's disgusting. Holy shit.
So should we have treated the borders
Zip 6-7? Bro, what?
the way that we did? Like, you just hung up on the word open?
6-7.
Well, yeah, because open implies some like.
Did we do a good thing over Biden's term in terms of it positively impacting America with the borders?
We could have had better border enforcement, I think. There were a lot of other issues going on in the country at the time.
But are you worried that I'm like going to got you there? I'm trying to build a mental model of what you believe.
Well,
Are you worried about a guy? No, he's just describing accurately that when you say open borders, that's not what was happening. That's what he's doing. Are you afraid to, like, just put it the other way to him? Are you afraid that there will be a fucking, like, that? Are you afraid to be challenged on your assumption that there were open borders? Is that what it was? I saw in the subs that this guy just hates Democrats because the Biden admin investigated his NFT. That's what, apparently, I've heard that as well. We're gonna, once we get to that part of the conversation, maybe we'll look into that, okay? Or maybe after the video, because I am curious if he was justifiably investigated. And also, was he, was he fine? Was he, like, fucking whatever? Like, let's look into the fucking shit. Like, did he, like, are there documents we can read and find out about? Because, like, if you deserve that shit, then that will put things into a far different light. He got fined 6 mil? Okay. Let's look into that shit and see if that was a justified fine or not. Let's see. Don't think it was the eye, it was whatever you said it was. Oh, then maybe, yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, just fucking disappeared. I mean, I assume it was in that direction. Right? Because, and there was a, like, slope, so in theory it just rolled down. But I just think it was just a glitch and the thing disappeared. Who the fuck knows? Crazy shit.
Well, the conversation.
Also, he got fined 6 million on refund. What a curious number. Disney. Hey, Cloakenstein. Cloakystein. Have I been saying that wrong? I feel like I've seen you before in my chat, but not for a while. Disney's so fucking soft on him when he is so obviously, at least to me, a piece of shit and stupid. Maybe. I agree. He's a fucking retard. But Destiny does seem to have some level of respect to him, and also they've they've met, like they've talked off besides just what you see on screen. So maybe he's like a nice guy, and like, fair enough. But Disney also says that he goes harder, which he is kind of doing. Like he's not babying him. So, like me personally, I would go harder, but I'm not Destiny, so he has his own reasons for being nicer. Then maybe.
Conversation is, how do we think who is senile versus the other person?
Yeah, but remember, so you and I are probably involved in a very different conversation right now. So
I'm just thinking in terms of senility, in terms of mental faculty.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at mental faculty, so one at a time. So very first
He's
thing,
in his reaching
I've never
out period too now to make himself not look like a rapist of the lawsuit. Yeah, that is a factor.
seen somebody have to explain.
Also, I'm very excited. Tomorrow, I will be streaming, I'm sure, to cover, okay? Because there will be a court filing tomorrow, or there should be at least. Tomorrow is due Pixie's response to the court asking, hey, justify why the fuck you didn't show up to your notice deposition or be sanctioned. So there will be something tomorrow, and I will be covering that shit, because that's going to be some good fucking memes, I'm sure. And also, I should announce this, okay? How many people are watching right now? How many people are... I've got like 21 viewers or something. I don't know. Everybody watching, okay? There will be... I can now announce, because it's now set in stone when it's happening, okay? On Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I think... Oh, well, we'll be starting at 12:30, okay? At least 70 viewers if you include DG and... Oh, cool. That's fine. I was just asking, like, oh, if there's a bunch of people, tell your friends and shit. 12:30 on Tuesday. EST. We will be having our Ban Appeals show with Kafka Esquire and special guest Mr. Mooten. And we will be covering some ban appeals. Okay. From DG, we'll cover some people got a particular person that maybe some of you will want to see their ban appeal being adjudicated. And then afterwards at 1 o'clock, we will have our next e-court debate. It's on the subject of tit for tat. If you guys were watching Destiny stream yesterday, I believe, then you might have heard him mention, Reason Riffs mentioned that he is debating Connor, Counterpoints Connor, of Counterpoints 40k fame. Okay, that will be happening on the e-court, on the tit for tat strategy and its application this Thursday, guys. Be there or be square. Mr. Girl Benfield, not Mr. Girl. Somebody asked if it's Clinkles Vim. I believe the 5th. Okay, I don't remember who it is, but I mean I can just check right now. But it's a known person and will be good memes. Okay. Can I please get my ban appeal? You're in the you're chatting. You're not banned. I that's how I can read your chat. What are you talking about? Hello? But yeah, be there, be square. It's gonna be epic content. Our honorable judge, Kafka Square, and the brother, Mr. Mutin, will be involved in our ban appeals. Appeals court. Will there be a VOD? Yeah, I'll probably upload it afterwards. Okay, let's get back into the video. What happens if she's sanctioned? If she's sanctioned, what Destiny asked for in his motion was to, I believe they asked for like $10,000 in like fees or whatever. We can just look at it. I have this thing open in like the fucking in this account, this Chrome tab. Just look at it. I believe it was before this. Yeah, it's near the end. Respectfully, okay, yeah, in excess of 10,875. So at least this much probably. There would be, you know, fucking maybe that would be sanctioned or more, or there could be other consequences in theory, but it would likely be fines plus something else maybe. Okay, back to the video.
An executive order to Biden. Every single one that Trump signs is explained to him, and oftentimes it looks like
What we reading? Oh, just looking for a second at the plausible sanctions for Pixie tomorrow.
he doesn't even know what he's like. Oh, this
Zip 45 stream looks like Gisticles. Yeah, that's the, I don't know if you realize, but that's the joke.
sounds like a good idea. And then he
Interesting.
signs it.
Okay, so on that,
Mhm.
what I see is somebody who, we've had all these policy discussions. I know what they're going to end up being. When you present them to me, just remind me which one this is. And then, yep, cool, got it. This is not somebody who's like, I have no idea what's going on and I'm befuddled.
Okay.
Like that is, now that may be your read, but that definitely is it's not my read. Like that seems
Definitely
so
not my read, though.
like blasé. Yeah, got it. Like there's so many things, so many moving parts.
So what are the moving? Okay, so then the second thing, Trump said he was going to Russia instead of Alaska. He's going to talk to Putin.
Yep.
It's
It's
what are the
embarrassing.
gaps for Biden here in terms of mixing up even like the places he's visiting?
Does that, like if he said I'm going to Azerbaijan to meet with Putin, that might be a little bit weird. But if you say the country name of the person, the number of times I
Bro, the excuse making. The excuse making is just insane. Why will he make infinite excuses for this guy?
see people point out gaffes that Trump made that I'm like, God damn, I could see myself doing the same thing.
Thoughts on the idea that unusual legal punishment should be allowed? Fines and prison time is boring. I think those are fine. Okay. Talk to me once they do something real crazy.
And
Which they have, but I mean, there's existing shit. I mean, why would you need anything extra?
not in cognitive decline. So that one like just doesn't feel like a big gotcha. Like
Tries to argue with Zelensky, you got invaded in 2015 instead of 2014. I don't know why he tried to argue that point.
yeah, but now you're doing the thing my wife does where you think you're average and everybody else is dumb. Like you're
No. Because Trump should know. And if he doesn't know, he shouldn't argue with the president of the country of whom he's talking about. Trump tried to tell Zelensky that he was invaded, that the original invasion of fucking Crimea was in 2015 when it was 2014. Why? Why did he not think that, hey, maybe Zelensky might know more than me? No, he's a fucking dementia patient who's can't be argued with. Like, do you guys know this? That if somebody has dementia, that you're not supposed to argue with them about when they forget something, because it'll just make them upset. Like, that's literally what's happening. Like, come on.
Your mind remembers facts in a way that the average person just is never.
Meet right for Trump? Check. Denigrate wife on podcast? Check. Yeah, literally, it's just my wife is such a bitch, guys, and it's like the fucking thing comedians do. Like, wow, guys, you know what we're gonna talk about today? My wife is just such a bitch, and that's literally it.
Never going to remember.
This motherfucker is so smug, it's genuinely grating to listen to. Bro's not smart enough to act like this. Also, he has a long head. Damn. See what you really think. Holy shit.
Average person is the president
I
of
get
the
it, but he's
States.
going to be good at different things. So he obviously knows how to aggregate people around him to get into power. He was, I mean, should have been an invisible real estate developer in New York that nobody ever knows about, but has been able to make himself absolutely the most famous person on planet Earth. You can hate that all you want, but it is.
I don't hate it. So I acknowledge you won a popularity contest. I got that. Okay.
Cool. So unfortunately, as you said at the beginning of the interview, that's really what today is about. We live in that age.
But you could be senile and be popular.
I think it is important for each of us to understand that we look at the same thing and we walk away with a different read on it. And then we can explain why we think that. Like, I have tremendous fears of the distortions that happen on the pathology that happens on the left. I'm far more afraid
pathology that happens on the left. He's so afraid of it, guys. He's really afraid
of that. And when I look at Trump, even though I am afraid of the pathology on the right, I don't see Trump as having enough of the amplitude of those types of things. Having looked as closely as I've looked at Hitler specifically, I just do not see the amplitude. I get where people see like there are similarities here, but the amplitude is just so far off from me. So then I'm like, I don't really have big concerns there. Now, I totally get it. One, I know I could be wrong, and so I don't overtrust myself, and I'm not screaming to the world, hey, this guy's amazing. We got to keep him in power. That is not my
But you said you were going to vote for him before the election, meaning you were going to influence some people to also vote for him.
take. But that, like, if anybody's just trying to understand me, not necessarily convince me, but understand me, it's like over here on the left, because I've spent so much time reading about how we end up over here trying to do these things out of what I will say is resentment, not a desire to help the poor, but resentment. I understand the mechanisms of how the economy breaks when you do those things. So I'm looking at it going, it's never going to work. And so even if we all say, we can ignore Tom when he says something about Trump, but let's listen over here. And maybe we say, we can, Destiny, when he sounds an alarm on the right, you need to listen. He is super attuned. He's got some blind spots to people on the left just because maybe he gets it more, whatever.
But you're not listening to him. He's ringing the alarm bells, and he was before the election, and you didn't listen. So,
hey, I'm fine with that. I'm not expecting.
You're not fine with that. You don't agree.
I understand where you're coming from. I guess my thing is that I've heard the klaxon sounding about socialism and communism for 30 years for the Democrats, and I've yet to ever see like even a step really in that direction.
Okay,
and then
let's address
Trump,
that.
Yeah, we've like so far in that I'm like, holy shit! Like there's so much.
This is really enlightening. Okay. So let me tell you what that sounds like from my perspective.
Okay.
Does anyone remember Obamacare? You don't think that was socialism?
I'm looking at it and I'm like, over the last 40 years, we have gone so far with left policies, lunatic left policies, unfortunately, both from the right and the left, but they both been
from both the right and the left. So
running big government, big spend.
I agree with Tom because of influence and technology. Trump is worse than the original. Yeah, he's worse. That doesn't mean you couldn't have predicted the way it is now. Right? Like, everybody knew this is what was going to happen. Literally every single thing, like when Kamala was on the fucking campaign trail, she would tell people things, and then the fucking retarded left-wing media would be like, Kamala's exaggerating about how bad Trump would be. And then, no, she wasn't. Trump is sending the military to, like, intimidate protesters. That is happening. She said that would happen. People called her crazy for predicting it. And it's happening. Like, literally. Fudge, this whole convo can be summed up about this guy going, well, from my point of view, I see it completely different. Literally. It's literally just, well, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
Spending, deficits are fine.
Why are these left instead of, these are just fiscal things? It depends on what you're spending it, whether it's left or right, right?
I'm going with traditional definitions.
Even traditionally, so like Republicans used to be way more hawkish, right? So the big spending there is going to be
I would define small government by Republican. Like, Republicans want small government. Small government to me means that there are just fewer costs.
What about Iraq and Afghanistan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
The last 40 years, remember, I'm not a Republican.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'm not a Republican, guys. I'm not a Republican. Just so you know. I'm not a Republican. I'm a centrist. Come on.
I'm just saying
when I look at these two, they
thoughts on the shutdown ending, mate? I think there's basically no real defense of it happening in this way. Yeah. I mean, if you watched, I talked to Destiny about this yesterday. Yesterday, I think. Um, I agree. I don't think there's like silver lining, but it happening this way, I don't think you can defend. Like literally any other way, like there are a million other ways you can conceive of that this should have been done differently, and I don't see how you could defend the way this happened. Like I wanted to talk to Destiny about it earlier today when he was streaming, but he said he was gonna end stream at 4:30, but he actually ended at 3:30, and I wasn't home yet, so couldn't do that. But he kept saying, "Oh, this is an issue of messaging, not with what actually happened." And no, it's not an issue of messaging; it's an issue of strategy. Okay, if you believe, okay, and I think there are reasons to believe, and there are arguments to believe, and it's like kind of coming out like that there are other senators that were in favor of this and we're going to vote for this, and that maybe Chuck Schumer is like approving of this, and he just like the 8 that were chosen were like the sacrificial lambs or whatever. Then what should have happened is, like, if this was the right thing to end the shutdown right now, what you do is get everybody in the Senate to agree on it, and everybody is going to vote for it to reopen and cut your law, like take your wins and explain to people, hey, we take these wins, we were fighting for this, this is what we got, like, let's do it. But if it's true that these were the sacrificial, no, you should have not done that. You should have convinced everybody, hey, now is the time to end the shutdown. We got these wins. Here's what we can get out of them. This is what they're willing to give us, and then let's do this, and then we'll make them for it, like whatever, right? Like it is insane. Where is this Chuck wanted this sacrificial lambs idea coming from? So basically, I haven't looked into it as much because I don't care really, but either way, kind of. But Dick Durbin was one of the senators who voted in to reopen. He is the Senate whip, meaning he's number 2 in the Senate. Chuck Schumer's number 2. There were some, I think Tim Kaine said that there were other senators who agreed with them behind the scenes, but weren't willing to vote that way, or didn't even say that, just that there were other senators that agreed with them. Another one of them said that Chuck Schumer was hands off on this, and wasn't telling people to vote one way or another. Those are like the ideas of that. It is very much conspiracy, but you can argue one way or the other. The other argument is that Chuck Schumer allowed it because he wasn't able to get them to not do it, right? That it's his responsibility to make sure it didn't happen. Therefore, it's his responsibility, which is very fair as well. Slightly different argument, but there's that. Yeah. And I mean, if that's true, right? Like, then what is the like? What should have happened if this was the right time for it to happen is you get everybody on board so that the messaging is consistent. But instead, what you have is these 8 saying, "This is why we did it." Everybody calling them a piece of shit, and everybody also in the Congress and in the Senate calling them a piece of shit for relenting. So I don't know. These retards going behind the rest of the party's back literally just means that the Dems had less, almost no negotiation power, apes strung together and shit. Also, there's no reason to stop the shutdown yet. Yeah, probably. I mean, you could say that, oh, like, this is a good time because, we showed the American people that we were willing to fight for them. We fought for them, but we're going to reopen so that people are going to get fed and people won't lose their SNAP so that people don't die, because the Republicans aren't coming to the table and giving us what we want. And we think that it's worth it to make sure people get fed and federal workers get paid versus keeping this going. And we're gonna keep up the fight. We're gonna force them to vote, and if we don't, we know that you're gonna hold them accountable. That type of shit. But then everybody needs to be saying that, but that's not what's happening, and that's not what happened, right? So if that was gonna be the way to end it, and maybe it was, and maybe you think that they were never gonna relent ever, and it was just gonna be a forever shutdown, then it should have been different from the start. Like, you should have made the off ramp of when you were gonna relent, but like that didn't happen, right? If you were gonna end it like this, you should have made sure that people knew what the off ramp was, and if this was it, that should have been the whole plan. Isn't this how all politics works? You only need X amount to pass something. Everyone else can vote on what they need to sell to their base. Correct, but if this was the right thing, then everybody should tell that to the base. But if it's the wrong thing, then you're throwing these people under the bus. For what? Right? And also, not all these are people who are being thrown on the bus. Fetterman was absolutely has been doing this. He's been a yes vote since forever. I think Angus King as well. Like these would be the ones that we're gonna do this anyways. Like the ones I could see would be like Tim Kaine, who was like the last one to do it, and like maybe Dick Durbin or whatever. But who the fuck knows? Like we can't know. We can't know what kind of conversations happen behind the scenes and all that. This is kind of how politics works, but it leaves people thinking, A, that Chuck Schumer is weak, B, that Democrats are weak, that Democrats are divided, that they can't keep themselves, like that Chuck Schumer can't keep his own senators in line, that he can't keep his own whip in line, he can't keep his own number 2 in line with what the rest of the party is doing. Like, it's really shit, the way that you look. There's silver linings, like people are gonna get paid, people are gonna get their SNAP WIC. We got the votes, so people like that's happening, and like that can be shown, and like whatever. You can do it again in January when it's back on the table, like, of course. But then what's gonna happen in January? Is it gonna be the same thing? Is it shut the government down indefinitely until the Republicans like do the ACA subsidies, and then when they don't, then do you do the same thing we did now and just cave? Like, what is the end game here? If the end game is shut down again until, like, if that's what it's going to be, keep the shutdown going until they give you it, or if they don't give you it, then once people are going to, like, actually start fucking starving, then fuck it. Do that. Like, keep the cycle going every single time and say fuck it. But message on that. Tell people that's what you're doing. Here's what's going to happen. Every time there's a vote, until the Republicans do it, we're going to shut down government until shit's going to expire, and then we do it. And then fuck it, maybe. But if not, I don't know. Sorry, I kind of just went off. But yeah. Was there anyone before the vote saying it's time to reopen the government? I think if they planned for it, it would have looked better. Yeah, if we knew that this was going to be the off-ramp. Or, like, even just if everybody was aligned saying, hey, we fought for this. We don't think the Republicans are coming to the table to give us this. Here's what they are getting us. Here's what we got for you, the American people. We know, we saw this last week based on the election that the American people understand what we're fighting for, that we're fighting for you, that we're fighting for your health care, and the Republicans don't care about that. So we are going to let these people get their benefits, get this whatever. Here's what we're able to get from them in our negotiations that we've had, and then we're going to keep fighting, and then fine, maybe. But it's not what happened. So instead, it just looks like total shit. Everybody just looks divided. They should have planned for this. They should have planned for the off-ramp besides just, like, it looked like the plan was keep it going indefinitely until they relent on this. But they didn't give an alternative. Which is also fair. Like, you don't give the alternative because then you tell the other side what you're going to do. But if that's like the internal, like, hey, or this, then you message on that once it's happening and get everyone on board. But that's not what happened. Secret Gem Strat is making America skinny by giving them 1 month of pay for food and then shut down for 2 months at a time. Easy way less strat? Maybe, bro. Maybe. Okay, back to the video.
They have both become completely irresponsible.
Sure. I'm saying when you say...
Hold on, because you gave me a very specific thing that you're saying, and I'm trying to explain how it sounds to me.
Okay, sure.
And what I'm saying is, you say we haven't moved any to the left, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? In the same way that when I go, what do you mean this is not crazy? Like, taking the National Guard into LA, what's the problem, bro? And you're like, are you fucking out of your mind? Like, that seems so obvious to you. You're like, can I even take this person seriously?
It doesn't just seem obvious to him. It is obvious. It should be obvious to you. Like, you're just fucking retarded.
If they don't see this, that's how I feel about people.
Were they still saying they wouldn't reopen the government until they got a promise for a vote even yesterday? I don't follow as much because I'm a doomer. Oh, fair. Also, what's up, Topper E? I think I've seen him in a while. I don't remember, but I remember here. I think yeah. Well, they didn't want a promise for a vote. They wanted a yes. They wanted for the bill to reopen the government to include extension on the ACA tax credit. That's what they wanted. Like what we got was a promise for a vote on it, but you know.
people who are not afraid of what's happening on the left.
I know, wait, real quick. I
Let me
understand what
finish-
you're saying. No, wait, I know. There's a real thing, okay?
Go ahead.
I'm not disagreeing with you that it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like we're having a weird, almost no true Scotsmanish fallacy where we're saying that, like, here are bad left-wing things, and one is big government spending. And I'm saying big government spending isn't always a left-wing thing. Pursuing a lot of wars, you could argue, is a right-wing thing, depending on what you're looking at. But the government
Bruh.
can spend a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily make it a left-wing
Bruh.
thing. If we're going to define it that way, then we've almost, like, through definitions, just won our arguments. And then both parties are basically
Bye.
left-wing party. Or actually, the Republican would be even more left-wing than the Democrat because they spent more than the Democrats. out there.
I have a belief.
Okay.
If this ends up being wrong,
Sure.
then cool. I have a belief that the
What's the belief?
modern left, no matter what, they will keep funding entitlements, making them bigger. Because I believe that about the left, then I'm just like, yeah, this.
Bro. Like, entitlements aren't bad. Entitlements are good if you can fund them and if people are willing to, like, fund them. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, cool.
This is never gonna work.
Darius is offline. DG was watching some 1950s movie. ZZZ. Oh shit, yeah, wait. Do I know you from Darius days? Yo, what's up, dude? Good to see ya. Okay, cool. Can I explode my bomb? Cool. Hold on. I need to run away from these guys, and then I need to throw the bomb. Boom, there you go. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, sorry, let me play the video.
At least the right now pays lip service to trying to grow their way out of this. Now, the good or bad news is that is the only option. We collectively, left, right, everybody, center, everybody has let this
Everyone.
get to the point where growth is the only option. Nothing else is going to work.
Okay.
So now we've got one guy who's at least paying
One guy.
lip service to it, who's at least trying some things. They're probably crazy
They're trying some things.
and they probably won't work, but he's at least trying. And so for me, as one guy,
least
I'm
he's
just like,
trying,
I am
you know?
far more comfortable with that than I am with the way that the left is approaching this situation, which is we've got
Like, they're not just trying some things. They're trying things that we know don't work, and that we know are bad, and that we know are fucked up. Like, what are you? You're just retarded. You're a retard. That is what you are.
to take care of everybody. We let the borders be wide open.
We didn't let the borders be wide open.
And we want, when a horrific bill is passed, we're going to get our Red Bull no matter what. And I'm just like, yo, like, I can't do it.
Okay. And the horrific bill was a Republican bill by a Republican Congress and a Republican president, and Republicans have been spending more than Democrats and lead the spending and have worse economies and cause contracting economies more than growing economies. And the last budget surplus we had was under a Democratic president. All the facts just seem to lay out like very clearly and cleanly.
They
last
they
time that-
don't support
that-
his worldview in the slightest.
Average person's wages grew. We're under Trump.
The last time the average person's wage grew, first of all, that's not even true. I don't think. Even if that's true, why would that be the case? Because also, no, that can't be the case. Because when Biden came in, everyone's wages were dog shit because of fucking COVID, and then they've obviously gotten better since then. So that can't be true. But even if it is true, it would be because of COVID. Because the last person to have it under it was, because the last person was Biden and then Trump before. Look at before Trump, you know who the last person was whose wages were growing before that? It was Obama, because that was the guy right before Trump. Like, you're just retarded.
He's at least trying to do something on the world stage.
He's trying to do something? Yeah, what is this something? Like, just because he's doing something, that doesn't make it a thing. It's not a plus. What he's trying to do is something, and that something is retarded.
To get us back where we are.
And you are, because you think that's like supportable.
Not literally just handing our future to China.
By making enemies of every country on the planet?
Yeah, dude, look, again, I'm not going to bat for Trump.
You just trying to make everybody...
You are at the bat for Trump. You are literally batting for Trump. That is what you're doing.
Yeah, but it's not. They're all...
You're downplaying all of his bad things and like espousing his fucking positives that don't even exist. You're really just fucking making shit up.
hate us now.
When I run the experiment of there's a reason you're making sounds. And the reason you're making sounds is you're trying to convince me of a thing. And so then I go, what thing is he trying to convince me of? And I keep coming back to that the next time that a Republican and Democrat go head to head, I should be wise enough to vote for the Democrat.
Yes, of course you should.
And for me, what I'm saying is that will come down entirely to the person. So I have no problem voting for a Democrat.
Really? No problem voting for a Democrat. I thought you said that they all are in favor of entitlement spending and whatever the fuck.
Beef is that if I hear economically just disqualifying words come out of somebody's mouth, it's going to be a hard pass. And so we can all say, that's a
You mean like the ones that came from Trump, but you don't think those things are economically disqualifying when they should be for you. So, no.
trigger that he hasn't. I think it's completely justified.
I actually 100% agree with you. But in that case, Trump has said so many more obviously disqualifying things than the
Oh,
Democrats.
so there you go.
I totally disagree.
Like, for instance, most Republicans right now don't even acknowledge that a tariff is an import tax. Trump still won't acknowledge that.
As far as I can tell, the entire left tried to shut down crypto, which is
But that didn't happen.
suicide. It did.
It literally
100%.
did not. We had 4 years of
we
Biden.
have-
It wasn't
we
shut
had
down.
crypto.
I got sued by the U.S. government because I was involved in crypto. I'm telling you.
Let's look into that in a minute. Okay, we'll get into that after the. How much is left of the video? We got like 30 minutes left of the video. Okay, we'll 1.5 this. Okay, and we'll look into it right after. Let's see.
Right now, they were trying to
Almost
chill
always
that the
got
fuck
the
out.
link.
I've
Alright,
heard
let's
you
look
make the
into
same
it.
pitch about, yo,
Let
when you've
me
got Elon Musk
copy
coming
that,
after you,
put it in a
like,
new
if
tab,
it were
we'll
anybody
come
but
back
me,
to
this
it.
is the kind of thing that has a chilling effect. It's exactly what it does. It's
Look
like,
into whether
what?
he
Like,
was
crypto is
justifiably
a legitimate
gone
thing.
into.
In fact,
my crypto fuck them. Yeah, literally. Like, because it affected him. Now he's against Dems. Interesting.
it is the only thing that's going to give people a life raft out of the absolute horrific mess that we are in from the dollar. Like, you have
Right
to have
now,
a way
the
for
president of the
people
United
to
States is
edge
running the
Really?
largest crypto
That's
scam
what-
in all
that's
human
what
history.
horrific.
Okay,
Dude,
all right.
but if
Yeah.
you're talking about where do you balance all this out? I've got one person over here that's telling me you just shouldn't even be able to do this. Let's make sure that we're doing CBDCs. And then you've got a guy over here
Devil's
that
in the
is
details.
fucking
Yeah,
wild
literally.
westing it, making it like just the easiest thing in the world to bribe him, which is god awful. But at least he's trying to make America the innovation home for crypto, which when you know that growing is the only way to get out of this, somebody has to lengthen the runway on US treasuries. And the best idea that I've seen, it may not be the best, but the best idea I've seen is to create a one-to-one backed stablecoin with treasuries.
What?
And if you do that, you create instantly an
a
international
great
market
idea,
for
bro.
US treasuries.
That'll do
It will
it.
not stop the problem, but it will
That'll
buy us
do it.
more time for people to figure out what they're going to do.
Isn't there already an international
slowly-
market for U.S. treasuries?
No, because people can't get, right now, if you try to get into international treasuries, you already have to be in a government where you have access to that. So that already
You can
rules
just
out
buy
God knows
treasury
how.
bonds.
Wait, private investors can buy
percentage of the
treasury
world.
bonds in
Yeah,
the
we're not
United
worried about those. We're talking about the average guy in fucking Kenya that has a cell phone and that's it. He's got a governmental currency that's terrible. And
Yeah, you could then that guy isn't like you don't have access to.
so he can't save
whatever.
money in that. He would be way better off in US dollars. He would be way better off buying US treasuries, but he has no mechanism with which to do that. He doesn't even have a bank account. So many people worldwide would suddenly be able to get access, partly because it will allow people to innovate and create things like stablecoins that they make available wherever. And as long as you have something that can be audited and you have a one-to-one backed with the stablecoin, you are still going to get inflated. So people need to be
Audited like you were, but okay.
aware of that. But the inflating USD is far better than virtually any currency.
Final episode with Tom would be Destiny discovering what he was investigated for, finding out it's justified in grilling the fuck out of Tom, Finn, those creatures just in case it was BS. Oh, yeah, sure. Is this guy sell shit to Kenyans? Yeah, I don't know why that was his example. If only Kenyan cell phone holders could invest in treasuries, America would be back at its golden age. Yeah, true. If only they could do that, then we'd all be saved.
Currency
It's
on
all
Earth right
Biden's
now.
fault,
So
by
people
the way.
all over the world would be like, oh my God, there's now all of a sudden there's massive appetite for whatever appetite there is for the digital currency. There will suddenly be an appetite for the
How
treasury.
do you buy? Who's doing the currency conversion if you're buying a stable coin? So, like, let's say somebody in Kenya wants to buy a stable coin in the United States. Is this being held like on a U.S.-owned treasury?
The mechanism by how that would work, it would certainly be, one would assume, the initial crop are going to be American companies that are they're domiciled here. They know all the regulations. They build the stable coin. It's all backed one-to-one with treasuries. And now they make it available for whatever. They make it available as a phone company. They make it available as a farming consortium, whatever. I mean, there will be untold amounts of innovation once there's clear regulation and people know what they can do.
Okay, I don't know if that would work in practice, but okay.
Also, you don't seem to like regulation around crypto, but okay.
I obviously feel very strongly that will, and that we have to have some ideas around how do we move forward with elongating the runway so that people can migrate off of the dollar in an orderly fashion.
Okay.
Because if that happened fast, that would make 2008 look like a trip to the bank. Like it would be
So
catastrophic.
the U.S. government would just have no more control over the currency then, or
Where's
The
thing I
U.S.
have to
government,
shoot?
if it defaults on its loans, will not be able to get
Where is it?
the
loans.
U.S. government should never default technically, right? 'Cause they can always.
Where is it? Help me look, guys. Where's the thing I have to shoot? Where's it at? I don't see it. Is it a balloon? Is it a putt flying around? I don't see it. It's right there. You just went over it. Am I just retarded? Where? Here? Is it on my screen right now? Is it at? No, go back here? Maybe? It's green? do you mean it's green? How could it be green? This dumbass. What? Am I? What? Hello? Fuck you. You're trolling me. Whatever. I'll play the video.
Just hyperinflate your currency. So at some point you go, either we hyperinflate and nothing matters, or we recognize we have to default. Both are catastrophic.
I have no idea. Yeah, fuck you.
Okay.
I heard you say in a recent stream that you're putting yourself in this crazy position in terms of you've now really become a target, but you're doing it because you actually want to make things better in America. So
fuck
what
you.
is that vision of America?
It's down here. Why is it?
That would be
Okay.
Civility has to come back on the right, and they have no reason to bring it back, and they benefited too much from being uncivil for so many decades. And so there has to be a recognition that you can't be civil with an uncivil side because it's an evolutionary trap that just indefinitely take advantage of you. It's like the thing I've linked in a lot to is like the tit for tat strategies or whatever that dictate how two sides can treat each other.
Oh shit, tit for tat. You want to know more about tit for tat? Come watch the E-Court this Thursday, 12:30. Ban appeals, 1 o'clock. Tit for tat. Connor counterpoints versus Reason Rift from the DAG Political Action Discord.
Okay, so I've heard you talk about that before. The tit for tat strategy, though, they found that there was one strategy that beat tit for tat.
It's called tit for tat with like 10% forgiveness or something.
Yeah.
We're at like 10,000% forgiveness right now.
So to you, it's just, that's never going to
He's the, if you guys have seen him, well, he was on Destiny stream a few days ago. Also, you might know him as the guy who biked across Europe for Ukraine.
work.
It definitely doesn't
He's a
work.
good
And we've seen the Republicans take advantage over and over again of the environments we live in. They're pushing the boundaries on everything so much. I guess we disagree on the magnitude of that, but I mean, I would actually just point to things that the Trump administration is doing that have never been done in all of, or at least in any recent U.S. history. And I would say that like the problem is that Republicans feel, one, I only have to argue with people on the left or center about this because on the right, the Republicans understand this because they say the exact same things I do when they're talking to the right or independents, and they know what I'm saying is true, and they give that advice to their side. But then they come and they hand wring on our side, and for some reason liberals seem to agree with their hand wringing. But basically, if one side is led to believe that there will never be accountability for their actions, then they have no incentive not to be acting in the most unaccountable way possible. And I think that that's where the Republican Party's been at for a majority of my lifetime.
And do you
That's
think
tit for
that
tat right there.
if you, well, one, how do you plan to make that contribution? So if you are going to attempt to get the right to dial back the rhetoric, what's the strategy?
Mr. Moon would debate a guy who backed across Europe for Ukraine. No, Mr. Moon's not debating that guy. Connor at Counterpoints is debating that guy. Mr. Moon is on the ban appeals with me. We will be, one of us is I think he's going to defend the people who were banned, and I'm going to be prosecuting them, okay? And we'll see who comes on top.
Reframing and just making people understand the problem that's happening, I think, is the first big thing. Because I think somehow the conservatives have gotten a hold on like every part of the media apparatus. On the right-wing channels, they can just lie with absolute impunity and with no shame. And then on the left-wing channels, you're stuck talking about the lies on the right wing. And you know that an LJ uses when you're on defense, you're never gaining ground, and most you defend your territory, and that's it. And I think more people need to be aware that the right has managed to dictate the talking points everywhere, and it's an unwinnable fight, basically.
Yeah.
Why are they able to dictate the talking points?
Because I think the left is concerned with standards and governance.
Will you be prosecuting against me? Well, you're not banned. You're right here. So
The right is
I don't think
not.
it's
So there'll be
even-
an impetuous child, and they'll scream and they'll kick and cry, and they'll beg the Democrats to come and save them.
maybe if
Like
you
they're
get
doing now,
banned,
begging them to
you
turn
can
back on the
have your
government because for
thing
some
on
reason
the
we've had
show.
two of the longest shutdowns in U.S. history under a Republican president with a Republican Congress. Or like when they lost their majority speaker seat and they were begging Pelosi, can you guys like vote for not McCarthy, but whatever the next guy was, please, because we lost our majority speaker seat somehow for the first time in U.S. history. They just don't care about governing.
But, okay, so you're just saying the drama of acting like a petulant child just controls the news cycle?
Basically, yeah. So they can lie with impunity about things. Everybody's stuck trying to talk about it.
Moon will be administering the tar and feathers? Perhaps. Well, we're still looking into the tar and feathering. We're still looking into the fudge. But I appreciate your persistence in asking for it. We do.
To defend it, then because they don't care about governing. So, for instance, right now, Mike Johnson is just totally happy dismissing Congress, not bringing anybody new in to avoid the
Doesn't
Epstein
give a
file, should
fuck.
avoid governing. They don't care. The government shutdowns, they don't care. Trump's not talking about like opening the government again. As long as he feels like he can get away with it politically, he's totally happy to keep it going indefinitely. So, if they're not concerned with governance, then they're just going to kick up whatever talking points they can, and then the left.
Oh, Destiny also said this that earlier on stream today, and I was gonna talk to him about it. I disagree. Trump has been talking about reopening the government because he was, after the elections, telling the Senate to fucking destroy the filibuster so that they could reopen the government and get shit passed. That's what he wanted. And also, even beforehand, he's been talking about the Democrats want healthcare for illegals. That's why, but then you reopen the government, yada yada, and shit like that.
For whatever reason, feels like they have to respond to those talking points, and then they're stuck in this weird trap of saying like, we don't want to give 1.5 trillion to illegal immigrants for healthcare. Like that's not even a real thing. Like it's a thing they say, but it's because they're not held accountable on any media platform. They just lie and then walk away, and nobody really says anything about it.
Okay, that seems to say more about the public than it says about them, or it says more about algorithms. So you've obviously become very
No, it says a lot about them that they would behave in that way.
popular. You don't let people get away with lies. So from that perspective, why do you think the contagion of your content isn't larger? I'm not sure the right way to ask that question, but if you're already doing the thing, which is you control the discourse, you talk about what you want to talk about, you're obviously very good at it. You get invited on the biggest shows, you get on big stages. What does it tell you about
True.
the broad audience that doesn't guess, catch more fire?
Well, for the right, it's incredibly unpopular. Once I became more aware of these patterns, I didn't talk to any more large right-wing figures because I was willing to play the same game. Because they're not looking for actual critical pushback or challenges. They're looking for more performative stuff. Even Joe Rogan is too scared to invite Gavin Newsom onto his show, despite the fact that he'll shit talk California and Gavin Newsom constantly. He's too afraid to have the conversation. When the right wing sees legitimate criticism or challenge, they avoid it like the plague. And then their own fan bases, I think, are deluded into thinking they are accepting challengers.
I think I have to ask a follow-up question. I'm so sorry to interrupt. So you're saying that the right controls the talking points, and that's what makes the left sort of always just playing defense.
Yeah.
But why, if the right is able to control the narrative by being a petulant child, and we're just saying basically drama gets clicks, are you saying that the left is up against a fundamental part of the experience? That the left and the right both crave drama, and so the left and the right both watch right figures throw tantrums?
Well, the left is still trying to keep the country working is the issue. And if the left...
Not the political chattering class, like they should still be able to get cycles, or are you saying the only cycles that matter are the government officials themselves?
Well, there's two separate things. So like when Biden came in, Biden tried to govern the country. He said he was going to be a president for both people. He wasn't on Twitter all the time firing off crazy things. He passed a historic amount of joint legislation, some of which Trump tried and failed to pass. Like Biden came in to govern the country. And Trump came back to tell lies and to make a mockery of everything. And after we get through whatever we get through here, whatever this disaster is, we're going to have to bring the Democrats again to govern the country. If Democrats want to play the same game Republicans are, they basically would have to give up in governing and say, okay, fine, I guess we're just going to sink the ship with both of us now, and we're not going to keep us afloat anymore. So because Democrats are trying to actually govern, they're playing like a game where they're trying to practice like policy and play politics at the same time, and MAGA has abandoned policy and they're just playing politics, and it's kind of impossible to win that game.
So when you say policy, because I look at what's going on with Trump and I see the most active president in terms of trying to shape America that I've ever...
Yeah, shape America how, dude? Shape America how, you fucking retard?
Seen in my life, but because he's doing it by fiat,
by illegally, yes,
that's where you're like, this isn't governance, this is some bullshit.
No, it's authority.
Not by fiat, illegally, and doing it, like shaping it to be authoritarian, and like he's a strong guy doing things. He's like, oh, it must be like, oh, this guy's so cool. That's literally it. He's 12. Like what fucking Cake was saying earlier. Like he thinks it's cool because he's 12. That's it. It's that simple. He's 12, bro. Oh, big strong guy. He's trying to shape America. Wow, so good. Maybe he's doing it by fiat, a little bit illegally, but I mean, he's doing stuff, isn't he? He's doing stuff. He's doing it.
It's authoritarianism or dictatorship.
Shape America so he can never be held accountable for his crimes going back to 2016. Yeah, he's trying to shape America to be a worse place for Americans except for him and the people he likes. That's it.
But you're saying like, so policy is specifically you.
But he likes that because he's one of those people. He's a rich white guy, so he's cool with it.
You want to see them engage with Congress,
like real lasting policy, like Trump's tariffs. The next president could just get rid of them like that,
right?
And I think the Supreme Court, I think, is hearing arguments on it now. I think the Republican Senate just voted to rescind them finally. Like, okay, maybe the president shouldn't be able to unilaterally dictate economic policy.
He can veto it.
Yeah, I think that both sides have to come back to wanting to govern the country. It can't constantly be, I would argue, Democrats picking up the pieces from horrible Republican governance over and over again. The population needs to be better convinced that Republicans can't govern, and they've refused to govern. And we're in the middle of another record-breaking shutdown right now because of their refusal or inability to govern. And like, once the Republican Party has come back to being willing to govern, then we can have better conversations on policy, and we can go back to...
Do you think in policy, or do you think in like the cultural battle of it all? Like when you think about your contribution, is your contribution almost aimed at the audience? And you're like, listen, this is how we should be thinking through this.
My contribution is aimed at the audience. I'm not like I'm not part of a think tank. I can't like suggest policy to congressmen.
Very interesting. Understood. Okay, so do you think like, would you most like to reach the right, or do you think that they piss me off so much I'm never going to be able to speak to them? I think that's a lost cause. So it's like, I've got to speak to the left, tell them how to metabolize
so in the past behavior. I think I have a gift for being able to speak to both sides if I'm trying to do this very effectively, and I did that for a while, but about a year ago, I guess I felt like I identified that the left just doesn't have very many strong voices that are advocating for itself, and that especially now as I've seen the second No Kings protest come up, I think there is a huge group of center-left people in the United States that just feel unrepresented and unheard. And then especially when I look at the success of Gavin Newsom, just got Prop 50 passed, I'm like, okay, well, these are like, we need more strong, hey, there's a center-left person that's not just trying endlessly to understand and be compassionate to an unhinged right that's taking us further and further off a cliff. Like, there are things that we should stand for on the left, there are policies that we should fight for, and we can be proud and fight for those things without having to constantly capitulate or be, understanding.
Best chances to ramp up our own voters and bring in new voters from a political center. Yeah,
people that are...
I mean, the best chance right now is to just get all the people that voted for Biden but didn't vote for Kamala. Right? Like, that's our best chance. So whatever we have to do to get those people, that's who we get. Because like, that's it, right? That's all you need to do. Just get those people, and that's it. And that means our own voters who were apathetic in 2024, and maybe some moderates who went for Trump this time. It really is that simple. Yeah. Well, I say that simple as if it's not hard, but Like you don't go to like, oh, we need to get more people on populist left. Like no, it's just do what Biden did.
In our mind, trying to destroy the country.
Now those.
And it's looking to work because what's going to happen is people are going to remember how bad Trump is because we're seeing it now. And that's what it is. People forgot how bad Trump was and they voted for him again like retards. So yeah.
You don't have a specific thing in your mind. It's just, I want to make sure that I...
What do you mean by specific thing in mind?
Well, so I said, what policies do you want to see go forward? You're like, look, I'm not a think tank. I'm speaking more to the audience. But if there are policies that you feel like you're fighting for...
For policies, I mean, in general, I mean, like I said, I don't even have policy debate anymore, but for policies, like basically a realistic assessment of the world that leads to greater levels of financial and economic integration with the world. So we should be the heads of all these multilateral trade agreements instead of retreating from trade with other countries. We need to understand that there are incredibly powerful incentives to have trade deficits, and we benefited from that for a long time for reasons that people don't seem to understand. And
because you want to essentially create a market for US dollars?
Kind of. It keeps our interest low, basically, on our debt, and it allows us to fund our debt without having exorbitant high interest rates, because a lot of people are holding USD, and that USD makes its way back to the United States in the form of buying treasury bonds. That's why, despite everything...
People just felt his first term was good. Well, he was about to win again if not for COVID. Well, that's what you just said, right? He was about to win again if not for COVID. So maybe, right? But he mismanaged the country under COVID. Like that was on him. People just forgot how shit that was, and people blame Biden way more for like the stuff that happened over COVID, even though he got us out of it, right? He led the country and made sure that the fallout was not worse than it could have been. So, like, you're kind of right, but yeah.
Trump tried to do with the tariffs and everything else, when the inversion happened on the treasury yield curve and the yield started to go up, it was because people were losing faith in the U.S. economy. It's good sometimes to have a lot of USD out there in the world because investing in U.S. treasury is a very good investment. It helps keep our interest down.
Do you think globalism was a mistake, or is that something you want to see us get back to a sensible version of?
Why the fuck would globalism be a mistake? Like, there's literally no, like, what is even the argument there?
No, I think it's crazy. I think it's very hard to say globalism was a mistake. But I mean, there are always like ways that you can augment your policy to make it better, right? Like if I had a family member that died from a car accident, I don't think I'd say, well, cars were a mistake. I'd say, well, there's things we can do better with cars. There's things we can do better with an integrated world. So,
do you think that the world moves through phases where there's a time where globalism is going to work well, and then there's populist moments, like I would put forth, we're in a populist moment right now, and in a populist moment, you're always going to be protectionist. That my read is that humans move.
Okay, but your read is retarded. Okay, what is it good? Is globalism good or is globalism bad? Tom Bilyeu, what do you actually think? Like, what the fuck? Is it a confirmed global homo? I am actually a global homo. It's true. No shot. His company is all made in U.S. Yeah. Also, there's no chance he makes everything in U.S. So he should be pro globalism. In which case, he should be anti-Trump. But obviously, that's not how he thinks because he's a fucking retard. So yeah.
Move in cycles, and when you're in a populist cycle, you're always going to be protectionist. Like the two will always.
All homos here respectfully kick no ban. Hey, it didn't get AI modded, so there you go. We're all global homos. If you're not a global homo in my chat, instant ban.
Go together. Or do you see a way, even in a moment like this, there's a way to break out of that, and it looks like...
Yeah, and that you have to take on like leadership roles there to break out of those moments. Like to become scared and locked down and protectionist in times of uncertainty, I think just furders the cycle, and it further entrenches you into the cycle. And I don't think it's usually producing the best outcome. Like I think America being a leader in the world in leading the way and trying to accomplish certain things, whether post 91 or whatever, it's like leading with NATO but not taking over all of Eastern Europe and everything because Russia's gone or the Soviet Union's gone. Whether that means like making, foreign direct investment in China or other countries that we might have traditionally seen as not being in our interest, and then expanding our own markets as a result of that. Like there are ways to be leaders in these things. I don't know historically, unless I'm missing something, where the populist movement was healthy for the state of the country. I feel like generally these lead to bad outcomes. That populism always seems like a thing that has a phase, and then once people realize like, oh wait, I remember why this doesn't work, then you go back to the other thing. Like actually working. I feel like that plays out over and over again. We're seeing it happen kind of in Argentina now. For some reason, we're doing massive currency swaps with them because, well, I know why. It's because Bilyeu or whatever said nice things about Trump. I would like to see that, like a big bold America that's like taking aggressive steps in the world to cement its place in the world instead of being like a very scared child, I guess.
Okay, so as somebody who speaks to the audience, what is it that they're getting wrong that's led us into a populist moment? How do you talk somebody out of a populist moment?
The most important thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand about the world, is especially true of economics, is people seem to think that everything is a zero-sum game. So if I work at Walmart and I earn $50 and I go to Walmart and I buy something for $50, people think that like, oh, nothing happened. Like there's always the joke of like, oh, economists might say there was $100 of GDP, but in reality, nothing's really happened. But that's not actually true. Like trade is, generally speaking, as long as it's voluntary, trade is always mutually beneficial. If I'm giving you $20 for something and you're giving me something else, what I'm telling you is that your thing that you're giving me is worth more than my $20. And what you're telling me is the $20 I'm getting from you is worth more to me than the thing, right? This is like time investment for money and everything else, right? Capital investment all works this way,
Yeah,
personally. So like getting people to understand that.
Does he know that though? He might just be that retarded.
right now the biggest issue with the right and MAGA is that like if we have a trade deficit, that means they're winning, we're losing. Or if immigrants are coming to the country, it means they're coming here to win and we're losing. Or if we have H-1B workers, because they're winning and we're losing. Or if universities are doing well, then the middle class, upper class is winning, the working class is losing. That idea that you have to fuck over everybody, like the crab, keeping people from climbing out, I just think is incredibly corrosive to a positive environment we can all grow.
So on immigration, which may be one of the most, when people get...
It's corrosive to like a good environment, and it's retarded. And you're retarded if you think it, so.
Into a populist moment, they become very protectionist around that.
Keep trying to hit me.
What do you think about that? What's the right way to handle it for specifically America?
I think that you should look, one is we need to come together and have an honest conversation about what our goals are with immigration, which again, I'm saying because parts of the country have ejected themselves from real talk. We can't even have that conversation. Like, do we want immigrants from everywhere? Some people think we only want high-skilled immigrants. All immigrants are good. Low-skilled wages or low-skilled labor is also like incredibly important to keep the economy running in different areas. So do we want
really fast, let me ask the obvious question. Is an immigrant good if they don't contribute positively to the economy, but they do take public funds?
No, but that's almost impossible. Almost every person will be a GDP benefit. They might be a fiscal drain, depending on. So like they might take more.
Spend that money.
Yeah, because it's always spent and circulating through the economy, right? But so it's up to us to figure out like what is the balance? How much can we take on? How much can we afford? And then what are our goals, right? And our goal should be to grow the economy, to grow the country for everybody, right? Yeah, and to adhere to some like core principle set of American values.
Like there are Americans that are fiscal drain, but so, like, it's just how it is.
Whatever we define those as.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So does assimilation matter? Do you think that's a part of what's playing out right now?
Yeah, I think assimilation is really important, but it's weird because people talk about assimilation, but they haven't identified what those core American values are.
If somebody could give you a list, would the list be enough? Or it's like, no, listen, it's got to be something like, because like I have a list. So freedom.
You have a list? Guys, these are the American values that count, and these are the ones that don't count. That's my list. For sure, dude.
I'll say liberty as a principle, capitalism, and the rounded to a growth mindset that work hard, work your way up, get better at something, contribute. Individualistic in nature, vaguely Christian ethics in the background.
Sure.
And by that I mean very specifically a spark of the divine in the individual that creates the right of sovereignty.
Okay, sure.
Now, does that feel roughly American to you?
Broadly speaking, yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
I think the way I would conceptualize it, I'm going to use different words, it's probably the same thing, but like in a very, very basic sense, the liberal paradise is the idea that all of us can come from different ideologies and different moral codes and different ways of life, but we can come together and in some ways agree on some shared, for some things we'll say laws, right? Like even if I think that adultery is wrong and you might think adultery is okay, we both agree that murder should be illegal, right? So there's room for people to have different beliefs and ideas. They might go to their own churches, but there's also room where we come together and we say, but for all of us to function together, we have to agree on some things. And protecting people's ability to basically pursue one of the things I wish I remember who this quote was from. There's a guy who said something along the lines of like, my favorite thing about the United States of America is the US of A allows you to become the best version of yourself more than any other country does. And the idea of being able to go to the United States and to pursue that as well as you can, the best version of yourself more than any other country does.
Why is that?
And the favorite thing about the United States of America is the US of A allows you to become the best version of yourself more than any other country.
Does the video have a fucking Discord notification in it?
Is the US of A allows you to become the best version of yourself.
Why the fuck does why does the fucking video have a Discord notification in it? Hello? Thank you. Yeah, true. Kick out Tom's editor. Yeah, what the fuck? My Discord, not yours.
More than any other country does. And the idea of being able to go to the United States and to pursue that as well as you can while sustaining the overall general health of the country. Like these are very broad words, and you can get into the debate on what that looks like exactly, which is part of the country, is being able to debate what exactly that looks like. I would say broadly speaking, that's like what the country should be about, yeah.
Okay.
So true.
How do you get people onto that? Like when you're talking to the audience, is it going to be stat-based? Look at how immigrants have worked, or this is how we should assimilate, or how do you, like when I look out at the world and I see the people that are having the biggest impact on galvanizing people around values, I unfortunately see things like Nick Fuentes, he speaks very clearly, but I, as a single person, am mortified.
I mean, it depends on who you're speaking to, and it depends on where you're speaking. Like if I was invited to like an economic forum to debate, an economist on the fiscal pros and cons of immigration, then we're going to be having a numbers conversation about what types of immigrants contribute more to our budget, I guess, right? If I'm talking to like a Nick Fuentes type person, then it's going to be a broader.
The SEC should fine him for that notification. True. Absolutely true.
Concept on like what is the character of our nation, how have we gotten to where we are today, has immigration benefited us or hurt us, and what ways has it benefited and hurt us, and then going forward, how can we continue to capitalize on, assuming we agree that America is a great nation, how do we continue to benefit from the ways that we viewed immigrants in the past and protect from maybe some of the negatives that we've suffered as other people come here too.
Can I give you my darkest fear? And then I'll be very interested to see if your natural response is to be like, yeah, or if you will be able to talk me off a ledge.
Okay.
It is my experience that all adults can change and only 2% will. So every time that I yell into the void, I am trying to find that 2% that will actually change. But for the most part, all humans are
This
automata,
is retarded.
but some get a high roll on changeability, others get a very low roll on changeability. I think all kids are very
Yeah.
changeable, but adults
Do you think you're one of the ones who can change or one of the ones that can't? Like, that's my question.
not so much. And so
Mazippa. Yo, what's up, Cryptic? Mazippa, what's going on? Good to see you, buddy.
it does get a little disheartening sometimes to think, wow, like I'm really only speaking to 2% of people.
I think that my personal belief is your major personality traits are pretty locked in by the time you're like 15. I think it's very hard, almost impossible to like fundamentally change people. But I think that fundamentally, like we're like 99% the same. I think the thing that happens is our intuitions get hijacked and moved in different directions because of politics or groupthink or whatever else. And I think those things can change.
Meaning if you can get some sort of tipping point to happen in that group, then most people will just follow the group.
Yeah, or if you can just get people to realize a thing, then they'll be like, oh, okay. They don't really have to fundamentally change. It just, an outer perimeter thing changes. And then they're like, okay, well, this still comports with the thing that I feel is important.
It's a very interesting insight, and I think that you're absolutely right that once the herd moves, then the herd moves. And so it just becomes a question of how do we move the herd.
Unfortunately, a lot of things, and I hate this, you said I'm very smart. I consider myself to be quite smart, and even, I would say for myself, I've had to learn a lot through experience. And I don't think there's a shortcut for that ever. I think you can go on almost anything, racism or whatever. Guns, right? For a lot of very far left-leaning people.
Pingu K, I am delete, zipzip 45? What? What's this person talking about?
Guns are scary, and they might think that they would even take the principal position of like guns are bad. I don't want anything to do with them, right? But it's probably not their position. It's more the concept of what they think guns are is bad. And even though that seems similar, there's a world where you take a leftist friend, like, okay, well, let's go shooting. I go to the range, have some fun. You can see the people that are chill. We're chill. We have some fun shooting. When you come away from that experience, it feels like I fundamentally changed from thinking guns are bad to thinking that guns are good. That's not really what's happened. What's happened is your thought was never guns are bad. It's guns are bad because they're like murder scary weapons that are uncontrollable too. Guns are actually okay because they're not murder scary weapons that are uncontrollable, right? And then you can make the same experiential argument, I think, for a lot of different things.
Speaking of guns,
use
you've
an
become
ancient arrow
arguably
for
the
this
most
fucking
prominent
Korra.
voice on the left, certainly the most bombastic, that's going to get the biggest response. When you go
Fucking
now
missed.
in public, given what's going on, do
Hold
you
on,
worry
this
that
time
you've
for
become
sure.
a legitimate target?
I mean, a
I'm
little bit. I
trolling
think I still have the
myself
young
right
man's
now.
energy of thinking he's invincible, I guess. So maybe if I get shot at, maybe I'll dramatically change that. But
Okay,
I was going to avoid going to events after the Charlie Kirk thing. But then I think it was Eric Trump and a couple of
I never use ancient arrows anyways. I like fighting enemies. Fucking ancient arrows suck balls, okay? I don't like using them. Because they just disappear enemies, and why would I do that when I can kill them normally and get loot from them? There's literally no reason to ever use them. Am I the only one who thinks this? I can't be. Like, it's just insane. I don't know.
Bullying me on Twitter, and I was like, no, well, fuck no, I'm not going to leave now. Because I feel like I'm in...
say bullying you?
Bullying me.
What is that? Bullying?
Like, yeah, like tagging the FBI and saying anything to be demonetized or whatever. Yeah. So I think if I see...
He's getting bullied. Boo-hoo.
That... One of my big things is to some extent you have to lead by example, and I'm like in one of the most privileged positions possible. So like, how can you ever tell people you have to fight against the system? You got to do this and that, and they're like, but also I'm too scared to go and speak at public colleges now. I don't know. I feel like for me to have any serious or real political opinion, I have to be willing to do that. Otherwise, like, what does it count for? If I'm not willing to step out and do anything, then And at the end of the day, right, whatever risk exists for me, that risk might have been made 100 times worse after Charlie Kirk, but it's still probably a very, very small percentage, right?
Do you wear a vest or have security or anything?
There is a good amount of security. I'm not gonna tell you what I wear. That's top secret. I don't want people to know the caliber they can penetrate my...
Top secret.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild to think. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, if you ever see a picture of me and I look fat, it's just because I have my thick 4 plates of ceramic armor and Kevlar vest. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I weigh 105 pounds, 8% body fat.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. I like it. Well done.
Thanks.
You said you're about to go on a new diet and gym journey.
So I can fight
I like
in
it.
real
I'll
life.
be very interested to see how far that goes. Dude, every time we get to spend time together...
Guys, any day now, he's going to go back on the gym. Back on the gym arc, okay? It's happening.
Agree, but I do find you have a very sharp mind. You think through these things in a way that gives me a fresh way to think about this. If you were going to make one sort of
He's giving him a lot to think about.
appeal to the audience, you're willing to put yourself out there, you're willing to take risks to sort of sway where the public is pointed to get the herd to move. What would be the final thing that you would leave them with if they were just going to focus on one thing?
I think this is more feminine than masculine, but I learned this after my 30s. Writing stuff down can actually be really illuminating. I think especially as men, maybe because women go through like hormone cycles. I think as men, I don't think we're always aware of how our emotional state impacts our, like how we're thinking, like cognitively. It doesn't feel like those two things are so connected, but they are. I think it's good sometimes to sit down and write out, like in a general sense, like where do you think the world is going in 1, 2, 3 years, right? So if you're on the right, you might think, okay, I think that our economy will be up a little bit. I think that the fears about Donald Trump delaying the election or trying to take over the polling booth, I think that's dramatically overblown. That won't happen. Write these things down because it keeps you honest with yourself. And the same thing, on the left, if you think that, I think that Democrats are going to sweep the midterms because our messaging's gotten better, or whatever else, just like write things down because what it does is in a year or two, when things start to
You can check if you're right. Check your work. See where you were.
happen, we're very good at lying to ourselves. And if you have it
We
written
got a
down,
50-50 gulag ban poll in chat. Nice. Who got gulagged? Or who was being gulagged? Dinkwave Zip Zip. Yo, what's up, Fleck B? I assume you're Flack and DGG. What's up? Good to see you. It's pretty epic. Jojo 9 and Jojo P. Deserved, I guess. Good shit. Love that 50-50.
You can start to see, okay, am I actually making good predictions? And the important thing is that if you're making bad predictions, that's great because then you can go back and you can say, okay, well, prospectively from that time, what could I have thought differently? Like, what am I missing? And then like change your thought patterns accordingly. There might be a thing that you're constantly over-indexing on or constantly under-indexing on or something that you're just missing. And then it's good to adjust your thought pattern as you go forward. Yeah. So writing stuff down and making predictions and then like really holding yourself to check.
Yeah, and so like for someone like Tom Bilyeu, who failed on all of his predictions, yeah, maybe you should be forced to reckon with that. But you know, that's okay. I'm hiding from Rinlux in here. Yo, what's up? I'll be your fucking. I'll hide you from the Gestapo, Flack. I'll hide you, the Jew, in my attic. From the Rinlux Gestapo. I'm kidding. I love Rinlux. Being chilling. Nice, Joe. I like. Hassan belongs in the gulag. He has illegal capitalist memes on his phone. True. did we all see that? Hassan getting harassed by the fucking CCP police because he showed a fucking Mao meme while he was at Tiananmen Square. What a fucking dumbass.
Check those every 6 to 12 months. I think it's good. I think it's good for your personal life too, but
No,
Could it just be
very much so.
fine?
Where can people follow you now?
You thought that was
hopefully
just okay.
if, my channel doesn't continue to get attacked, it's Destiny on YouTube, Destiny on Kick, and the Omni-Liberal on X, but don't go to that one if you're sensitive because it's pretty crazy over there.
It most certainly does. Awesome. Well, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And until next time, my
Wow.
friends, be legendary.
Okay,
Take
go
care. Peace.
subscribe to this.
If you like this conversation,
True. Okay. Finish the video. Look at what happened to Tom Bilyeu. I didn't know it was Tiananmen Square. That makes it so much more funny. What the fuck? Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty sure that it was Tiananmen Square, unless I read something wrong or was being misinformed. If so, don't believe my misinformation. But I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So yeah, jeez. So I remember Destiny's Twitter evading arc. Like when it was like Destiny's friend. That was fun. It was good times. It was fun chasing him around. Wait, what do you mean? Disney's Twitter evading arc chasing him around? I don't understand. Hassan got accosted by communist Chinese cops. He managed to somehow blame America for having, yeah. Him having to make a bunch of oh yeah. That was fun. That was good shit. Yeah. Absolutely amazing memes. Okay, hold on. Let me. Fuck. Whatever. I'll just read this. IC charges LA-based media and entertainment company Impact Theory for unregistered offering of NFTs. Oh, it was literally an NFT scam. So it wasn't just they went after him for crypto. It's NFTs. Okay. Wait, guys, do we all know what an NFT is? Just asking, because apparently some people don't know what an NFT is. Does everybody know? NFT? Exactly, Cake. Exactly. Kick up, then you mean his friend of his friend at some point's Twitter account. Yeah, true. NFT, there we go. Yeah, King WNTD. King Wanted, I assume. Exactly. It's an NFT. I met that guy. NFT guy, I met him. He's based. Okay. This is today charge Impact Theory LLC. Balls at the bottom. Exactly. Balls at the bottom. Media and entertainment company headquartered in Los Angeles is conducting an unregistered offering of crypto asset securities in the form of purported NFTs. The theory raised approximately $30 million from hundreds of investors, including across the United States, through the offering. According to the SEC's order from October to December 2021, Impact Theory offered and sold 3 tiers of NFTs known as Founders Keys, which, hold on, let me switch in OBS the tabs so you guys can actually see what the fuck I'm looking at. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's zoom in a bit more. Known as Founders Keys, which Impact Theory called legendary, heroic, and relentless. Okay. Order finds that Impact Theory encouraged potential investors to view the purchase of Founders Keys as an investment into the business, saying that investors would profit from the purchases if Impact Theory was successful in its efforts. Among other things, Impact Theory emphasized that it was, quote, trying to build the next Disney, and if successful, it would deliver, quote, tremendous value to Founders Key purchasers. The order finds that the NFTs offered and sold to investors were investment contracts and therefore securities. Accordingly, Impact Theory violated the federal securities laws by offering and selling these crypto asset securities to the public in an unregistered offering that was not otherwise exempt from registration. So basically what they're saying here is, because of the way these things were being sold to people as investment contracts, because they were being told that they would get tremendous value and that they were going to improve and whatever, that these were investment contracts in the way they're being sold, therefore they're securities, therefore they need to be registered with the FEC. Because that wasn't done, these were unregistered offerings, which you could be fined for. Oh, what they're about to say. Okay. As an invalid exception, offerings of securities in whatever form must be registered. San Antonio Apps, director of the SEC's New York regional offices. Without registration, investors of all types are deprived of the protections afforded them by the robust disclosures and other safeguards long provided by securities laws. Basically, you have to register securities because then they can actually be tracked and regulated and shit. So, yeah. NFT straight from, let me reach out real quick. NFT straight from the command line hit different, to be honest. Yeah, I always, whenever I'm making an NFT, it's always straight from the command line, guys. Zip, a couple streams ago, you went through funny stream moments. Do it more often. It was fun. I would, yeah, if you guys want to see them. I mean, you can always link stuff, and maybe I'll watch them when I'm not reading something like I am now. But yeah, if you want to. How are you mad that he got a slap on the wrist for that, Lamau? How is he mad? Oh, how is he? Yeah, how is he mad that he got fucked for this? I mean, it's insane. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he disagrees with what they found, but then it would be like, who's right, which we have to look into. But I don't know. Zip 6-7 kinda. Zip 6-7, hell yeah. Invest in NFTs, get it twisted, you will win. Try and name it. And want to look at some of Tom's content prior to this filing. I wonder if that's when the Trump glaze started. That is actually true. Is this when the Trump glaze started? When he got fucked on this shit? No, all about the command line. I literally have command in my name. True, cryptic command. You know all about it. Yeah, drinking water. Device is snitching on you to Rin at the moment. He's saying you click links in DGG and interact with them. I mean, I have done that in the past, yeah. But I've also talked to Rin and we're cool, so I don't know what that means. I don't do it often. That was what we came to an agreement with whenever we talked a million years ago, so yeah. Like, I don't interact with DG chat all that much unless somebody's like literally linking something to me. Or somebody says something I don't understand. Or something that I just want to interact with, but I'm usually just interacting with family chat, and you guys know this. If you actually watch me. But yeah. Okay. Keep reading. Without admitting or denying the SEC's findings, Impact Theory agreed to a cease and desist order finding that it violated registration provisions of the Securities Act of 1933, ordering it to pay a combined total of more than $6.1 million in disgorgement, prejudgment interest, and civil penalty. Like right now, I'll interact with you chat. Destiny, link something. I want to see what Destiny linked. I didn't know you were allowed to post straight up executions on Instagram. What the fuck? Lol. What did Destiny link? Where's the straight up execution happening on Instagram? Oh.
You're too stupid to understand them.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you you lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What does that
You're
mean?
a fucking don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your mouth. It's because I'm better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed and you know that the traditional values that you try to sell people on are bullshit because you are not a traditional man.
Chuck.
Good one. Good man. That is the literal execution. Fuck that guy. Actual piece of shit. Okay. Jesus, that's some concentration camp? What, Elmer Fudd? Okay. Also, just what we just read here, right? This sentence, without admitting or denying the SEC's findings, Impact Theory agreed to the cease and desist order finding that it violated and ordering it to pay. So basically, like, for Tom to, like, be mad that he got fucked on this, he would have had to deny the SEC's findings and try to say, oh no, this isn't what we did. But they didn't. They agreed to cease and desist, finding that it violated it, agreeing to pay it, so, but, like, good one, dude. The order also establishes a fair fund to return monies that injured investors paid to purchase the NFTs. Impact Theory agreed to destroy all founders' keys in its possession or control, publish notice of the order on its websites and social media channels to eliminate any royalty that Impact Theory might otherwise receive from future secondary market transactions involving the founders' keys. Yeah, so they agreed to it. He didn't fight it. So no, unfortunately, Tom Bilyeu, you don't get to fucking. The the Biden administration went after me for my crypto. No, sorry. You agreed to it, buddy. If you wanted to if you wanted to deny it and go to court over it, then that was an option, but you didn't. And why didn't you do it? Because you know you're fucking lose. That's why you did it. So there you go. There you go. It's that simple. Fuck Tom Bilyeu. He's a bitch. Yeah. Switch back. What else do we got for tonight? I think I'm gonna finish upgrading some stuff. Some like armor here in Breath of the Wild, and then I'm just in stream. It's midnight already. And I kinda need to sleep. But who knows? I can't. If you scroll to the bottom, there's the document attached. I can't. Oh, is there more? Okay, hold on. There's more. Oh, SEC order. Let's see. I can't link. What did you? Hold on. If it got AI modded, then oh, wait. What are you trying to link? Kick open, or were you trying to link that? I've got it open. Let's see. Let me switch back. Then. Okay, let's read. How long is this SEC order? Oh, not that long. We can read it. All right, let's read the actual order and see what was said. Okay. Order instituting season 6 proceedings pursuant to section 8. Okay. SEC deems it appropriate that season 6 proceedings be and are instituted pursuant to section 8A against the back theory. 2. Anticipation of the institution of these proceedings, respondent submitted an offer to the settlement, which the commission has determined to accept. So they settled basically solely for the purpose these proceedings and any other proceedings brought by or on behalf of the commission, and without admitting or denying the findings herein, except as to the commission's jurisdiction over respondent, should admitted, respondent consents to the entry of this order as set forth below. Based this order, commission finds that findings herein are made pursuant to respondent's offer of settlement, not binding on any other person or entity. Okay. Oh shit, there's a lot more facts. Okay. So basically they're saying, hey, they agreed to this, this is what's happening. Kick up and says, I wanted us to salute a DG soldier who posted his selfie on the Reddit. Oh. Cool. Salute 07. But yeah, I don't know. What did he selfie for? Okay. From October 13th, 2021, December 6th, 2021, Impact Theory, media and entertainment company offered and sold crypto asset securities known as Founders Keys, KNFTs, in the form of purported NFTs, raising approximately 30 million of Ethereum from at least hundreds of investors, including across the United States. In advance, they stated they would deliver tremendous value to KNFT purchasers. But they also stated it would use the offering proceeds for development, bring on more team, and creating more projects. Consistent with the foregoing, Bacteria collected the proceeds from the sales in a single crypto asset wallet and used a portion of those proceeds to pay certain vendors providing services related to Impact Theory's business. 2. Based on the facts and circumstances set forth below, KNFTs were offered and sold as investment contracts, therefore securities. Purchasers in the KNFT offering had a reasonable expectation of obtaining a future profit based on their managerial and entrepreneurial efforts. Impact Theory violated sections 5A and C of the Securities Act by offering and selling the securities without having a registration statement filed or in effect with the commission or qualifying for an exemption from registration. Seems pretty true. Let's see the things. Respondent, they're Delaware-based LLC, but in LA, they've never, neither Impact Theory nor securities have ever been registered with the commission in any capacity. Okay. 3 tiers of NFTs, Legendary, Heroic, and Relentless, priced 1.5 to 3 Ethereum token per the Legendary tier, 0.75 to 1.5 for the Heroic, and 0.05 to 1.1 for the Relentless tier. Each contains a digital graphic that features a combination of 4 out of 50 possible symbols as shown in the representative examples below. Wow, these look sick. Would you guys buy this NFT? In advance of the offering, they hosted several live speaking events on Discord, posted recordings of those events on the company's Discord channels for the public to view, and shared information on their websites and social media. Also posted recordings of additional speaking events on YouTube, participated in public interviews on news and social media promoting the NFTs. To these events, they invited potential investors to view the purchase as an investment into the business, stating that investors would profit from their purchases if Impact Theory was successful in its efforts. Among them, they stated that they would be trying to build the next Disney, deliver tremendous value, and that the future value of the key NFTs would be significantly greater than their purchase price. For example, they stated, examples. Okay, let's see what they actually said. If you're paying 1.5 Ethereum, you're going to get some massive amount more than that, so no one is going to walk away saying, oh man, I don't think I got value here. I'm freakishly bullish on that. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that is true. Okay. Okay, dude. Okay. I mean, come the fuck on, buddy. How are you? Okay, there's zero there. Tom Bilyeu should get fucking raked over the coals for this shit. Okay, he should never be allowed to say, "Oh, they went after me for the like, brother." You literally are saying that. Okay, fuck it. Let's keep reading. B. The product itself is called the Impact Theory Founders Key, and we like to say that it unlocks the future of everything that we're doing as a company. As I really looked at the NFT technology, I realized what it allows you to do is reward your community. And for somebody like me who's trying to build the next Disney, what you need is a thriving community. So we saw this as a tremendous way for our community to capture tremendous value from the things that you're building. Okay. Come on. C. Now, as we're building out this IP, imagine that you could have gone in on Disney when they were doing Steamboat Willie. That's how we think of the Legendary tier. That's how we think of this whole first drop, quite frankly. For sure, bro. 7. Impact Theory also underscored that this purported value would be derived from the company's efforts, and that Impact Theory would use the proceeds from the offering for, quote, development, bringing on more team, creating more projects. For example, they stated, but yeah, we'll make sure that we do something that by any reasonable standard, people got a crushing, hilarious amount of value. Come on. Dude. The key takeaway that I want you to have here is that a lot of cool things coming in the next 18 to 24 months. There's ultimately a tiny fraction of the things that will be coming out in the next 5 years. The reason we're only studying on the next 18 to 24 month hype. I want you guys to be able to capture 90% of the economic value of all the big things that we will do in the coming years beyond that. The only way to do this is to only sell and set the price based on things we are doing in the short term, and that will leave the upside to be largely captured by you guys. C. You're going to be investing that money into development, into bringing on more team, creating more projects, making sure we're delivering just an obscene amount of value. So people giggling, think that they can't believe that they paid, whichever tier they come in on, and they're getting all this value. Until that's a sentiment, we will just keep stocking with value. Okay, this guy's a retard for saying all this. Like, you were asking to get fucked by the SEC. Holy fucking shit. How could you fuck this up? So bad. Doing this shit when you're a broke scammer is one thing. Doing scams like this when you're rich is straight evil. Yeah, I agree. And he deserved to get fucked for this, and they paid $6 million in fines for this. Good. Fucking good. That's probably less than they fucking deserved. Frankly, if they made 30 mil, but I guess it depends how much of that 30 mil, where that all went, but Jesus. Kick Upton, now why do we need an NFT for this? Yeah, like, just make your company public? I don't know how you fucking do that, but if you want people to fucking invest in your company, let them invest in your company, like, by buying stock in your company. NFTs, you are trying to fucking scam people, you fucking retard. Also, if somebody knows, like, where you can find this information, if somebody can look at Founders NFT, Founder Key, Impact NFT, whatever the fuck it was called. Look at the fucking graph of that shit. I'm sure it was literally just a fucking pumping up crypto scam. I'm sure. So that's another factor. Okay, in addition, Impact Theory publicly shared its views that the fortunes of NFT purchasers were all linked together. Goals to make sure Impact Theory is enriched, as well as its founders enriched. Sorry, yawning. So team here at Impact Theory is enriched, so you guys are also enriched, so that's why you're aggressively behind NFTs. NFTs are a mechanism by which communities will be able to capture economic value from the growth of the company they support. Given these statements, numerous prospective and actual purchasers of key NFTs stated on their Discord they viewed them as investments and understood it. For example, prospective and actual purchasers stated, so people in the Discord channel. It's like being offered to invest in a booming company when they're Series A. It's like investing 10K with a 300K upside for a small risk. Everyone here is an early adopter. Buying a Founder's Key is like investing in Disney, Call of Duty, and YouTube all at once, bro. These absolute lasers. Like, Jesus Christ. There's this point in time, no investment has such an amazing risk to reward ratio. You're not investing in some key or PNG. You're investing in the Impact Theory team, and regarding this is an opportunity that has never been. It's like handing $20 to Mark Zuckerberg in his dorm room. Bro, these have to be like plants, right? Like these can't be prospective and actual purchasers stated this. So these are people in the Discord that weren't involved with the team. They were just like people buying shit. So now I will put my conspiracy hat on. These were plants or fake Discord accounts, like putting this shit so that other people will be convinced. Like these were people saying this when people were saying, I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if I should be buying NFT. Like these are plants being or fucking the actual team on their alts, like saying this shit. Like, are you serious right now? These fucking statements. This goes beyond glazing. This is like you are trying to convince people to buy shit that they should not be buying. Okay. 10. In total, key Impact Theory sold 13,921 NFTs to at least hundreds of investors. In doing so, they raised 30 million worth of Ethereum, collected the proceeds in a single crypto wallet, then used it to purchase stuff from vendors. After the offering commenced, the NFTs also began trading on various secondary market crypto asset trading platforms. Stated on their website and social media, keep purchased and sold on 2 such secondary market platforms. Impact Theory programmed a smart contract for the NFTs so that the company received a 10% royalty on each secondary market sale. Secondary market sales generated approximately 978,000 worth of Ethereum in royalties for Impact Theory. So they made an extra mil from royalties. So 31 mil approximately. Jesus. Because offering sale was not registered, they did not register with the commission. Violations, as described above, they violated Section 5A of the Securities Act, which states that unless a registration statement is in effect as to a security, it shall be unlawful for any person, directly or indirectly, to make use of any means or instruments of transportation, communication, yada yada, to sell security through the use, or to carry or cause to be transmitted. So basically, because this was a security that wasn't registered, you're not allowed to sell it. Now, if Tom wanted to get mad about this, he would have to argue that it was not a security. It's probably pretty hard to do when you're telling people it's a fucking investment. Also, as a result of the conduct described above, they violate Section 5C, which states that it shall be unlawful for any person to make use of any means. Same shit. Okay. So because you were selling it and it was a security, therefore you're violating. So Tom would have to argue that this wasn't a security, and that's pretty hard to do the way you fucking do this. So good one. Disgorgement and civil penalties, so they're gonna be made to pay funds, yada yada. Remedial efforts, they are remedial. So as part of the settlement, they repurchased the NFTs from people. Repurchased 3,000 of the 12,000 that they sold or whatever, turning approximately 7.7 million worth of Ethereum to investors. So they paid back 7.7 million back to people, plus the 6 million that they gave to the SEC, so like 15. Jesus. Respondent has undertaken to destroy all key NFTs in its possession or control within 10 days of the date of this order. Publish notice within 10 days. Revise the smart contract or any other programming codes or computer protocols underlying the NFTs to eliminate any royalty that they might otherwise receive. Basically, they can't make any more money from it. Certify in writing compliance with the undertaken set forth above. So basically, they're saying certify it in writing so that if you're lying about it, then they can get you for fraud afterwards. And make sure that we know that you're doing it. Make reasonable requests for further evidence of compliance. So show us evidence that you're doing it, so we know that you're fucking doing what you're saying. You're not just full of shit. Assist the commission staff and administration with the distribution plan. So make sure that the commission can help you do this. Like make sure we're involved. Respondent may apply to the commission staff for an extension, so you can get an extension if you need it, but you're going to fucking pay this shit back. If you're for the going, commission deems it appropriate and in the public interest to impose this action agreed to, and it shall be ordered that you'll pay disgorgement of 5 million whatever, prejudgment interest of 483, civil and a penalty of 500,000, so like a little over like 6.1 million they said in total. If not, then you'll be fucked, and it must be made these ways, and it will be made, yada yada. Damn. Vanessa A. Countryman, Secretary. Good shit. Fuck Impact Theory LLC. Fuck Tom Bilyeu, NFT scammer. got fucked on it, and lies about it. Good one, dude. Good one. People who buy NFTs are brain dead. Also, most NFT projects benefit when other people are excited. Yeah, that's why. Like, I'm sure this has happened before, where people would do like an NFT scam like this, and they'll put like dummies and like alts into fucking Discords, being like, "Wow, I'm so excited, guys," and like trying to convince people who were like hesitant or trying to make people buy more or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Thomas probably asked Matt because it's reported that his NFT was the first to get hit by the SEC. Really? He was one of the first ones to get fucked by the SEC on the NFT shit. Fucking good one, dude. He thought he wasn't gonna get hit. Fucking retard. For here, this is the only chart I could find of it from Forbes. Oh, let's see. What did Forbes get? The graph. What is this? I guess it'd be hard to tell if this one launched. I mean, it doesn't seem like it just looks like a, whatever the fuck. Boom. Like big jump here and then immediate downside, but I mean, still, like, even if that's not the case, it's still bad to be selling a security by one not registering it as security, meaning people aren't protected as they should be when they're trading securities, but good. Not one of the first, like literally the first, like NFT fucking SEC shit. I mean, get fucked, loser. Shouldn't have done it. I mean yeah, he thought he wasn't gonna get fucked. He got fucked and deserved it. Looks like it's that simple. I don't know. Absolute loser. Next time, don't scam people with NFTs. And it would be a scam in this case because there's no protections, because they're not registered as with the SEC. Alright, probably do anything else I can do here in Breath of the Wild before I end stream. Oh, I can upgrade this armor set. And then I'll probably end stream in a few minutes. If you got like one last short, anybody's got like a short video they want me to react to, I could do that. Otherwise, yeah. Love me the great fairies. I'm tired, bro. Jesus. What a day. Shit. I've got all the things I need to fully upgrade my Radiant set. Anything interesting from LS video? L's video? I's video? What is that? What is that referring to? Trump talking about Chicago? Boring. What, is it on fire? Is that it? Like, yeah. I'm sure that's what it is. And more luminous stones. Damn, I don't have it all. Rip. Oh, Lauren she made a video? Lauren Southern did? Is that... What do I need to look up? Lauren Southern... What'd she say? One day, a lot to... Bro, an hour and a half? Nah, I'm good on that one. I'm good on that one. Maybe tomorrow. Jesus Christ. That's funny. I thought she was gonna eat you. What the fuck? Yeah, that's what the Great Fairies do. They molest Link and upgrade his armor. True social post. Let's see. Oh, is this like right? Like, is this right now he's doing this? Jeez. What's he saying about Chicago? What's he saying? Today at 6:30. Proud to announce that Chicago, Illinois, despite all the radical opposition and obstruction we have from the mayor and governor, has seen car theft, shootings, robberies, violent crime, everything else drop dramatically. Since launch of the DHS Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago only weeks ago, shootings are down 35%, robberies are down 41%. This is almost certainly not true, these numbers. This was just a small initial federal force, not the full surge we have done in Chicago and Memphis. Wait, what? Is he... Proud to announce that Chicago, Illinois Despite this, these things have dropped dramatically. Since the launch of this DHS operation, all of these are down. Which is a small federal force, not the full surge that they've done in Chicago and Memphis. Did he... Like, you're talking about Chicago. What do you mean, not the full surge you've done in Chicago? You're talking about Chicago. Hello? As we ramp up more assets, these numbers will continue to drop. It has been achieved despite the extraordinary resistance from Chicago and Illinois radical Democrat leadership, the constant violent left-wing terrorism, its ICE officers and federal agents that insurrectionist Democrat officials refuse to stop or prosecute, and constant physical assault and attempted assassination. Wow. I'm sure this is very true and real. I'm sure these numbers are very true and real. Bro, like, you're just retarded. He's also saying the Supreme Court was given the wrong tariff numbers. Really? Well, that's funny because it's Trump's people who give the Supreme Court the tariff numbers. And if we stop tariffs, that would be a national security. Let's see, what do you have to say? What did he say? Payback numbers being quoted by the radical left loading ticks who would love to see those on tariffs. Actual number we would have to pay back in tariff revenue investments would be in excess of $2 trillion. That in itself would be a national security to catastrophe. As opposed to us in the US Supreme Court giving low numbers so that the court will think it is easy to get out of this terrible situation. These... What? I don't... What? Yeah, this is just... It's literally nonsense. I literally don't know what he's even trying to say. It is actually brainless. I can't even parse it. The unwind in the event of an acquisition on tariffs would be, including investments made to be made in return of funds in excess of $3 trillion. Oh, so it's $3 trillion now. Okay. Would not be possible to ever make up for that kind of a drubbing. What the fuck does drubbing mean? Cool. Should become an insurmountable national security event, devastating to the future of our country, possibly not sustainable. Yeah, so this is retarded and won't change the Supreme Court's mind on anything, on what they're gonna do. This is just like he's insanely full of it. I mean, this is just like somebody's making him say this shit, and it's. I'd like to see him say where the extra trillion came from. Yeah, I mean, it's retarded. It's retarded. It's retardation. He's retarded. He's a retard. And it's that simple. I don't know. Jesus. Well, okay. I think that's it for me tonight. 12:30 a.m. nearly. Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Appreciate y'all being here. See you guys next stream, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll probably be covering if Pixie decides to respond to the sanction, like, motion to show cause, but, I mean, fuck knows. Maybe they just might not. Maybe they'll just eat the sanctions. Who the fuck knows? But they should. And in theory, after the response tomorrow, there might be, like, they might have a hearing on that, depending on what they say, to, like, figure out what is true, what isn't true. They have a hearing on that, and I'm able to. Perhaps I will be showing up once more to the hearing. Perhaps. Depends. Maybe not. Okay, last thing. Elmer Fudd he might actually have dementia after the Chicago Truth. Yeah, he might. Minus 10k? They might just be down 10k. Maybe. I mean, Pixie seems to have the money to just fucking keep the shit going, so who knows. I love you, Zip Zip. I love you too, Flack B. I love you parasocially, okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next stream. Bye. I'll host Who's Live? Is Switch Ups live? Yeah, go watch Switch Ups. Alright, bye guys. See ya.